So I was just like, I'm gonna do everything I fucking want. I'm gonna travel to California. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
just
do all
hop
this
on
stuff
some
because
flip flops
never did.
and hop on a Jigsaw
And
1000
and
and
like,
like I'm excited. I'm nervous, but it's been spoken into existence, and I wanted to take a moment and introduce you guys. I know most of you know this legend that we're speaking with right now, but wanted to take a moment and introduce Jess Rides, Jess Games. Oh, you nowadays, with Jess Rides, Jess Games. I mean, like,
I
it's
know it's so confusing. And that's kind of, first of all, thank you for having me, Shifter. I followed you for years and years on Instagram, watching what you do with Rose and, how
yeah.
you've grown as a content creator. And it's been so cool and inspiring to see you, grow on social media, in this space. And it's, brought us together. And I've seen you do Shifter spotlights on Instagram, with the galleries and everything, through there. And I think this is such a cool way to kind of get to know content creators in a different light. And I can't wait to see what you do. I'm happy to be the first. Am I the first one on Twitch?
The first rebrand right here. This is the first
Ah,
launch. And,
like, this is so cool.
it's I've talked about bringing back the shifter spotlight, but for me, it's as far as who it was going to be for the first person that we brought back. Like, I know that we've had this journey on Twitch for the last, it's been almost 3 months.
Few months. Yeah.
And it's been, this, I will say that this individual, Jess, right here, is the big reason why we are here on Twitch and why we are still
Yeah.
continuing. And I think there's so many other things. I've seen your journey too. We've been following each other for almost roughly. And, we've always kind of just like liked each other's stuff, but never engaged or anything like that. So, but just to,
commentate and all that good stuff.
as Papa Shift would say, like, just seeing you as seeing your work ethic, your hustle, your grind, being a mother, and finding kids, and something that and seeing your work ethic, the hustle, and not making excuses, and it was a way for me to relate, and it was
Yeah.
I really admire it. So guys, get ready. We're gonna. Can you guys hear Emmy in the background? Emmy is. I gotta make sure Emmy's good. We're good.
Yeah, go check. You can go check if you need to.
ZW said almost missed this. No, we're good. Z-Dub, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Another individual that I've just recently connected with, and
Hey.
you never know who we gonna have in the hot seat, guys. This is the start to it, and so thank you. I just want to take a moment for both for being here, the Spark Army, the Shift fam. It's been out just like that. An anonymous just gifted 5. Wow, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. That just blew my eardrums out. But I think it's stories. You've been letting everyone know that I got baby pictures. I got
Oh my God,
guys, I've got some ammo on deck. And I've got some good stuff to talk about, and I'm really excited. And I just like I said, thank you guys for taking the time to be here. Bear with us.
For coming in. I'm scared, chat. I don't. So I know he was like, I don't know how to introduce you, Jess Rides or Jess Games. I'm still trying to figure it out, guys. Like I've been Jess Rides. Before that, I was in the car scene. There's so many facets to me, and it's been hard from like a branding perspective because social media is like pick a lane, girlfriend. Like, and I think as we go through this conversation, you guys are gonna see I've like done a little bit of everything. I'm just an adrenaline junkie, and I love a lot of different things, and I'm passionate about a lot.
Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
We're gonna
you can call me Jess. You can call me Jess for now. It's Jess.
It's we've talked about trapping ourselves inside of a box. We've talked about this. This is something that I don't think it's just motorcycle creators go through, but there's so many people that trap themselves in certain boxes, and it's just it's on us to find a way. We got to find a way to break free, and I think we're doing that. And it's there's no, like, who do we call you? Jess Rides, Jess Games. It is Jess, and that's who you are. And that's the purpose of what we're doing. So we're gonna get Jess warmed up, chat. We're gonna get her warmed up. I'm gonna start with rapid fire questions. I don't want you to overthink these. Just first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
You ready, Lista? All right. What's your favorite? What's your favorite motorcycle brand?
Yamaha.
First word that comes to your mind when you think of your daughters.
Independent.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
If you could ride one motorcycle the rest of your life, what bike would it be?
Yamaha R1.
Pleasure. What's your guilty pleasure snack?
Nerds clusters.
Nerds clusters. Okay, okay. I remember getting the nerds ropes all the time. I would love those. If you if you weren't an influencer, what would you be doing?
Oh man. I don't know, some sort of social media content creating. I really enjoy video production and editing, something in that space. I really love the strategy behind this. And I think that's why I do what I do. And I love doing what I do. Something like that.
I have an interesting one. What's the weirdest DM you've ever gotten? What's the weirdest appropriate DM you've ever gotten? Has there been anything?
I was gonna say, like, this is
even, you know, like weird is it, you know, obviously we know what kind of DMs goes on in the DMs, but the weirdest DM, is there anything just been like so left field? Anything that you can think of?
There's a ton of not safe for work stuff out there. There's some really interesting individuals into some interesting things. So there's been that, lots of it, which is crazy because I don't have that kind of content out there. You know what I mean? But I think generally speaking, people who are just asking questions about where I live, where are you? Can I meet you? And I'm like, I don't get from people like in the audience, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still a girl, you know, I'm just a girl. I'm a mother, you know, stranger danger. And I get you might be reaching out to me with the best intentions possible. And you might be the most genuine, awesome. We'd probably get coffee and everything's good, but what if not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so from my perspective, it is, and I want to reply, you know, I've got that in me where I do want to talk to you and I do like want to reach out and connect and, you know, get to know my people, but I can't just meet up with strangers, you know, and go get coffee with you.
I think it is strange.
Someone asked me, can I use your bike? Hi, hello. My name's Jess. Let me just borrow the bike real quick. Yeah, let me. You know what I mean? And I'm.
Trust me, there's a lot of we're exposed to, you know, and how, you know, rapid fire question. How long have you been creating content for?
10 years.
10 years. Wow. 10 years, guys. You guys hear that? 10 years. Yeah. So you're
in the motorcycle space.
You're saying if you don't make it after your first year, like, it ain't nothing. I swear, most people go through that. Biggest fear.
Spiders.
I think everyone knows the answer to this. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
And then
cannot live without coffee.
I need to know. This one, does pineapple go on pizza? Yes or no?
Not for me. No.
All right, chat. Does pineapple go on pizza?
Does not belong on pizza.
Does pineapple go on pizza? Yes or no? I need to know. I think majority saying no.
We're gonna fight, chat. Who said yeah? Blocked. No, I'm just kidding. Major bananas.
Hard no. I think no. That's 100. I agree with y'all. There's a couple. We have Trick Drummer. I'm taking note. Trick Drummer said yes. I'm gonna remember Daniel. Y'all are. Oh, I can't do the pineapple. Let me go right here. Well, thank you. You know, I have one more. What is a piece of advice? What is one of the best pieces of advice you can remember recently that I know you've had a lot of encounters and stuff, but what's a piece of advice that sticks with you that you were told?
So something that's always stuck with me from my grandfather is, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that is something that has resonated with me since I was a young girl and never really like got it. I was always like, yeah, sure, Papa, like whatever. You're like, okay, I got it. But he's so right. You know, if you truly enjoy what you do every day, you'll you might be doing work and getting paid for what you're doing, but you're not really looking at it as work because you enjoy doing it every day, you know? And I think that's something that I'm really like paying attention to now and trying to figure out, you know, where I want to go with my career choices and things like that. It's like, what do I enjoy to the core? So I wake up every day and I'm excited to do it. Even if there's like, I don't want to do it or like whatever, I'm still doing it because I'm like, you know what? I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this and I enjoy putting my time and effort into this, you know?
And you know, you did send me a couple, guys. I do have some pictures. Like I said, I have this picture. I believe it's of Grandpa holding. You said Bella, was it? Let me.
Bella, I think I sent you Bella and Kylie.
There we are. There we go. Let's do this. Shout out to Grandpa. For those of you guys that in chat, who has been, you know, who has had their been extremely close with their grandparents? Has their grandparents been a big part of their uprising, part of their lives? I feel like I don't know where I would be without Gigi and you know, Grandma help. I think yep. See, we got chat already coming through. Grandparents have been a big part of our lives, and so you know, this brings me to, you know, this next topic is us, you know, truly getting to know you, starting from like the beginning. Like who was Jess as a kid, and were you always um like what was a moment for you that could be defining? Tell us a little bit, like who were you in the beginning?
You know, my childhood is we're going to dive right into this. You know, it's an interesting piece of me for sure. I always remember myself as a kid just being like a tough cookie and super independent and very like, I remember my cousin always said, "You're so bossy, Jess. Like, you're so bossy." And I think it's just because I was like, just in your face and I wanted things the way I wanted them. And like, I really had to tone that piece of myself down as I grew. And I still have that. Obviously, you guys can see I'm very strong, forward, independent. You know, my dad used to always say, like, if Jess has set her mind to something, don't get in her way because she'll mole you down trying to get to it. You know, like there's just nothing going to stand in her way to get what she wants to go after. Right. I was always very independent. I was very adventurous. I was always like climbing to the tallest oak tree, giving my dad a freaking aneurysm because he's like, Jess, get down off the neighbor's roof. Like, why are you up there? I'm like, there's a lizard. Like, I'm trying to catch it, you know? And that was very much me as a kid. And I think I just had this independence and creativity and to me
It
that I
sounds like
still have now.
adventurous, almost like
Adventurous. You know. Yeah, very much. Very much, which explains, you know, me being in the motorcycle scene and jumping out of airplanes and kayaking and all that stuff, right? Very, very adventure like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think were you so there's the adventurous aspect, there's so many different ways of you know, describing who you were, but you know, when I see you, I see you as someone that's extremely independent, someone that has I just, my spidey senses and my thoughts like have seen there's this wall where it almost feels like you are protecting um of yourself. There's this wall that, and we all have this wall, and we all have like, I talk about this, we all have this mask that we wear, and I'm not saying it's a mask, but were you always like, from the like, was there events, and you know, we don't have to get too much into it, but like, was there events in your life that caused need to be there, like they, like what led to you seeming so independent and strong-minded, and like, guys, like chat, like here's the thing is like, I'm like, we see you and you are from the looks we get we see, and that's driven, that's motivated, that's dedicated, and doesn't take crap from anyone, but there's a reason behind that. And so like, you know, were you always like this, and it's not a bad thing, but like, was there things that happened?
No, it's not. Yeah, you know, as a kid, You know, when I look back at my childhood, I'm always like, yeah, I was happy. You know, I was happy as a kid. My grandfather was if it wasn't for my grandfather, I think I would be on the street as an addict, to be honest with you. My mom, so chat knows, still struggles with addiction. She was a alcoholic, anything substance abuse related, like trigger warning here, just FYI, like she was in it and did it. And it was a priority for her over the family. And as a daughter, I had so much understanding for her and forgiveness. And I really tried to work with her to, like, you know, get through that addiction and everything. But once I became a mom, I was kind of like, how could you do that to me? You know, so it wasn't easy. I didn't have a good childhood. On the outside of it, I think I shared some photos with you. Shifter, my grandfather was the light of my life. And I his. Like, I was his first grandbaby. Like, I was everything to him. And with him, he was the one that really taught me work ethic, how to build a business. He came from nothing in Alabama, moved to Florida, and like created this Max Davis Associates, which you can still Google now. It still exists. Someone bought it. He made this amazing company. He used to take me to work. I used to visit his board meetings. Like, I just looked up to him so much. And if it wasn't for him, I really think my life would be a lot different than what it is now. Right. I looked at that, no matter how much darkness I had going on at my house, or being afraid to come home or bring friends over because I wasn't sure if my mom was going to be passed out on the ground or like a normal human being. Like, those are the things that I was dealing with as a kid. And I shielded a lot from my brothers. Right. So I had this like natural caretaker hyper independence where I'm like cooking, cleaning, like I was parentified a lot when I was a child. So I think that made me mature faster. It made me look at things a lot differently. It made me way more ambitious. Whereas like kids my age were going to summer camp and like having fun and doing all this stuff, where I'm like, just how can I protect my brothers when I get home, you know, from this darkness that's there. Right. So it was tough. You know, I'm not going to say, you know, and it's funny because like I tell my story now and people are like, oh, it made you tougher. And I'm like, yeah, but kids aren't supposed to be tough. They're supposed to be kids, right? And yeah, it affected me, you know, moving forward. Like, growing up, I realized, you know, I can't even trust my own parents. So who in this world? Those are the people that you're supposed to trust, that are supposed to have your back, that are supposed to look after you like your whole life, right? That's what they're supposed to be, but they weren't for me. So I do have trust issues, and you know, I like to just do things myself because I feel like I can't put my trust in anybody else, you know? So
I
that's
am.
that's where
Thank
it came
you.
from. Just being, you know, being real with you guys,
Thank
you
you
know?
for sharing that. And I think just by seeing the engagement in chat, like there's people out there that can relate, Jess, and there's
Yeah,
people that have
I'm sure.
struggled with, and whether our stories are the same or different. I know that there's, you know, we just like you said it, um, you're so thankful for the things that has happened because it's led you here. But
It did, yeah.
there's also this aspect to, just like you said, like where kids aren't supposed to go, like shouldn't be going through that. And
No.
it's it's a dynamic of we've talked about this on the stream, but um there's a trauma from your past childhood we all deal with. It's like the title of the stream was literally dealing with your inner child, healing from your inner child.
Mm-hmm. I
And
It took me way too long to realize how much inner child work I needed
and
to do. Right.
and for the
Yeah.
record, you're set how old, 73, 72.
75.
So, you know, if it
Yeah,
takes
75.
y'all
I'm looking for
50,
nursing homes if anybody has any
if it takes
recommendations.
y'all 50, 60 years and you know, this has been a big year of healing for myself as well. And there's a dynamic, and where, just like you mentioned, the trust issues, abandonment issues, and
Oh yeah, all
there's
the
this
things.
aspect. Do you feel the sense of that you had to grow up a little too fast?
So fast, Shifter, like so fast. Like, I was a mom at 14. Not my kid, right? Not my kid. But my youngest brother came around when I was 14, and my mom was basically non-existent. you know, mentally. She's physically there, but like not really. So I'm like up with baby, taking care of baby, like who does running baby to daycare on her way to school, like who does that? Dealing with cops coming to the house because my parent, you know, begging my dad to just get her out of here. Like I love my mom, but like she can't stay. You know, like I had to grow up so fast dealing with like I don't know how much I want to share on stream or like I don't
No, it's
what
okay.
how much I can share. I've obviously healed enough that I can talk about all the instances, but there's been some really messed up stuff that my mom did to me as a baby and or as a kid. And just healing from that like was tough. It was tough and it took a long time and I don't think I realized how much it affected me until maybe 5 years ago. You know, I spent most of my 20s being like I'm good. I got this. Like it's good. I cut her out of my life. I'm strong. Like my therapist kept saying like you need to work on this, Jess. I'm like I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I'm good. I'm happy. Like everything's great. Like I got my baby and I'm, you know, I bought my house and like I've got my career, everything's great. Like I don't miss my mom. I, you know, whatever, yada yada yada. Um, but it wasn't until
Is there do you oh go ahead, finish. It wasn't until
I was just
what?
gonna say it wasn't until I had my abusive relationship where I was like, whoa, hang on a second. Why? How did this happen to me? And that's when I really started like self-healing. That was about like 5 years ago. So it took a long time, Chad. Took a long time.
I mean, like,
Took a long time.
who here in chat has been in some type of abusive relationship, whether it was verbal, physical? There's a, why does it's crazy that it takes, sometimes it could take the craziest things in life to really open our eyes. And
It,
you say that, you know, like it's taken so long for you to heal. Is there an aspect to where there are things that you're, and it's not to be specific here, but it's for everyone else so they can relate. Is there aspects where you are still trying to heal and still working through that behind the
oh yeah,
scenes?
I feel like healing's a never ending journey, right? Or growth and personal growth and you go through so much in life and who you are last year isn't who you are this year and you're just constantly evolving. So I always feel like it's just a constant work in progress and there's always things you can improve on and do better and you know, change about yourself and work on, etc. Whether that's health or physical health, mental health, like whatever it is, there's always something that you can improve on, right? Um, but yeah, I think now through my healing, I've identified, you know, the things that used to attract me to really bad men, right? Chaos used to be like, I'd be like, oh, this guy makes me feel like home. And my
Hmm.
therapist is like, Jess,
That's that
home's
trauma
not
bonding.
good
We
for
talked
you.
about that.
Yeah. Like, home isn't good for you. Like, let
So
me
give me a
remind
couple
you.
examples. Like what are some of the red flags that brings you in? Because I feel like we're all attracted to red flags. We're all attracted to the one thing we
Yeah.
shouldn't be. Like, what are some of those
Yeah.
things?
So, my first serious relationship, I got involved with an alcoholic
Mm.
in a male form,
And we just
obviously,
talked
right?
about
It
how
was
you're,
basically
yeah, we talked
my
about.
mom in a male form. And I had to look back and identify, okay, don't want that again. Like those qualities in that individual, I got to make sure that they don't have a substance abuse problem. I got to make sure that I attract people who are battling with this mental disease because it is a disease, you know, alcoholism, addiction, like that is a disease, you know. Um,
100%.
my dad had it too, you know, my dad and my mom. So I was like, all right, let me identify what those pieces are. And I ended up leaving that relationship because, you know, it just got real bad. Right. And now he's sober. He's sober now. So that's great. You know, I love that for him. He's grown and stuff. But back then, like, it just didn't work out. And I was like, all right. And I identified that. Never was with another alcoholic or person battling with substance abuse. The next thing I dealt with, my next serious relationship was an abuser, a full on, you know, he never went to therapy to get diagnosed. And I hate diagnosing people personally. But if you ask my opinion, I wholeheartedly think he's a narcissist. I think he has a lot of inner child wounds. You know, and through that, I had to realize, you know, okay, what attracted me to this individual? Because there are, if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, everything turns out to be a lie. I never thought that I would go on a date and I'd be like, "Hey Shifter, what do you do for a living?" You know? And you say, "I'm a content creator." I never realized I had to fact check that kind of
Just the
stuff.
most random,
You know?
they'll make
Yeah.
lies that just literally make they
Don't
don't even need to lie about that stuff. Like,
right. And
hmm
so everything was a lie. And it took me, and they're so good at lying that it took me almost 2 years to uncover all the lies, right? And meanwhile, by that point, he already had his hooks in me. He isolated me from my family. He controlled my finances. He like literally every hook that you could get in me, like was talking down to me emotionally, eventually turned into physical abuse. Like it was I still look back at that and I want to study it because it was just so fascinating to me now. Like, holy hell, he got this strong, independent, successful woman and literally crushed me into nothing. Right. And it was the hardest thing to leave, to actually get out of that situation. And so I look back and I realize, you know, I was attracted to what I thought were strong, independent, um, um, I say controlling now, but what I thought then was just like driven, a leader. He had a great job. So I thought, turns out he was unemployed. He told me he had a really great paying 6-figure job. And not that I'm a gold digger, but I'm
take
like, oh,
notes,
perfect. Like,
gentlemen. Take. I'm just messing around.
you know,
Don't
no,
lie about your profession.
well, I had this like checklist after I had broken up with the person battling alcoholism. I had made this like checklist, and I'm like, all right, Jess, like my therapist told me to make a checklist of like what I want out of a person and don't budge on those things. And I was like, has to have a good job, has to have his own place, have a car, um, is a leader, is honest, loyal. And I'm like, okay, he checked all these boxes. Little did I know I was dealing with a narc who lied about everything. Really, everything was a facade. Everything I knew about him was a lie, and it just ended up being the worst possible relationship I've ever been in to date. Like literally destroyed me. And I had to rebuild myself from that. So now
You're
I
gonna go
know
right into
I
my
read all
next
these.
question. Like, what are so
Yeah.
now with everything you've been through, with like relationships in specific, like, what are some of the green flags for you? Like, what is all these? There's so many people that question, like, Jess, are you single? Jess, I see your chat, I see the
I
story, I
know.
see people
I
reaching
know.
out, and like,
I
there's this
know.
aspect of, like, what are like what are some green and or red flags for you now, like when you look for um uh, if there's a potential individual in your life that could possibly pop up, you like, and let me know, let us know.
Let us know. Yeah. So I don't want to give the playbook because people are
Yeah,
always
no,
like
no, like,
asking. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, no,
I'm
no,
joking.
don't give
I
them the whole
I
playbook,
I
but I think
how to date
holistically.
Jess rides. Everyone's like writing notes. No, I'm joking. That's a joke chat. Um I so first of all, I didn't even like create kind of like I created this like quadrant now where instead of it just being a checklist, I've got like my deal breakers. And honestly, it's been so long since I've looked at this because I don't even want to date at this point, and we'll get into that later. Um, but let's see, I broke up with my ex 5 years ago, right? It was during COVID. Oh God,
We all know the
gotta
Insta
stop talking with my
360.
hands. I know, right? I love it, but I gotta stop talking with my hands. I don't know my ethnicity, but I might have Italian in me. I can't talk without my hands. Um, so now I made this chart and I have like my deal breakers, my wants, my deal breakers, my wants, my the things that I can like move on, and then my red flags, right? Of things. And I really wrote them down, and it's stuff that I want to pay attention to. It's as small as how you treat wait staff, how you treat animals, how you treat people around you. Do you have friends? Like how's your relationship with your mom? You know, things like that. I'm really honing in on. And I want to see who you are as a person. Um, and those are the things that I look for. I look for leadership. I look for I'm trying my best now, because I failed at this before, is finding someone in a secure attachment style. a secure attachment style where they're open and communicative and there's no triggers that amplify their nervous system to behave in a certain way, that we can be a unit and it's you and me against the problem. It's not you and I fighting with each other. So I really want to see how you deal with conflict, whether that's in a family situation or at work or whatever. I want to see if you act in security. That is my huge thing right now for a man. And I want them to be masculine and not toxic masculinity. I think, and I know there's like a whole bunch of stuff out there online about like being feminine and being
Better renew that
masculine,
membership at the gym, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't want like some swole, like toxic masculine dude that's like, I'm going to order your food for you. And like, you can't leave the kitchen. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean more of like a guy who's walking in his masculinity, that he's very secure in himself. He knows he's a leader. He can provide for a family. And that doesn't mean financially. I swear to God, I get torn apart for this online. Like, you're a gold digger. Like, you just want to be a glorified, P word. I don't want to say it on
Well,
stream. I don't know if I'm gonna get in
elaborate.
trouble.
What does provide mean? And
Provide emotionally, provide security, provide stability, in that. So it doesn't mean financially. In every single relationship I've been in, chat, I've been the sole provider. They've moved in with me. I own a house. I have a career. I have the stability. I never looked at a man and was like I signed the lease. I put the $15,000 down payment down. Like, that was all me. And I was always like, I got you, babe, But now I don't want that. Like, I don't want that position. I can do it and I can contribute and I can help because I do have my own children and I will always provide for them. That is never going to be a responsibility of someone that comes into my life ever. Right. But I want that mentality from someone because I don't want to have to train you otherwise,
Well,
like, and I feel
think,
like if you
sorry,
elevate yourself to that level, I don't have to, it's the kind of man that I want. Right.
I think
That's so tough to
there's
find.
aspects of, whether it's a feminine energy or masculine energy or for me personally, like I don't believe in gender roles. I don't believe like women should be cooking and I'm surrounded by girls and women and like
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoy talking to women in general that are leading the way and that are making moves for themselves. There's this
Mm-hmm.
dynamic to it, but like what I see is like you've been able to fill your cup with certain aspects, and it overflows, and you want to help. But I think what's important for the men out there to realize and to recognize is that you need to have some of your own cups that you're filling, and it's not so much to say like Jess said, like it doesn't just have to be money, good muscles, like all these things, but you need to have some cups that you're filling, so that way when you go
Mm-hmm.
I've just been learning this recently. I think with relationships, you should go into each relationship offering value, and
Mm-hmm.
it's value more than just like let's talk, let's
To
connect.
each other
Mm-hmm.
too. Like, people are
Mm-hmm.
always like, you just talk about men, Jess. And I'm like, yeah, but, and I don't speak on behalf of the feminine side. I unfortunately, like, I'm straight. So like my experiences have only been with men. So of course I'm talking about men. Like, if I was dating women, I'm sure I'd talk about the crap show that women are too. It's a society right now. I think we're just in a really tough spot. We can get into that later, but
Well, I think
it's
this
I
brings
think
me.
relationships. Oh, I was just going to say, I think relationships, it's not like 50-50. It's not 80-20. It's like both of you trying to accomplish the 80% as a team. And I might only be 20% one week and you're 80%. And then the next week you're 20% and I'm 80%, but we're always reaching that 100% together as a team, right? In different aspects, in various ways. That's how I look at it, at least.
Well, with this kind of brings me into this next question I have. Like, you're an influencer, and for the record, she is single. And when we look at like how does going from here from this moment on, like
Yeah.
put a stamp in it from this second on. How does being single factor into your journey? And what are some of
Yeah.
the rewards that you think for being single? Like, what are some of the good things about being single, and what are some of the challenges about being single? As single, with your girls,
Yeah.
with being a creator, with So like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, going forward, what is the blueprint? Like, what is the um, how is this going to factor into your journey going forward with you being single right now? What
Oh,
does it look like?
man. So like, I know you said from here forward, but I have to give you some history to tell you where I'm at right now, because the last 5 years I've been single, but I've been open, right, to like going out on dates and like whoever fall. I'm against dating apps, and we don't have to get into why. I'm very against dating apps. I tried them, I think in 2022, and I'm just like, it's too much. It's too much. I can't handle it. I can't sift it. Whatever. Anyways, I feel like, that's just my position on it. Um, I've been open. I introduced one man to my kids in the last 5 years, and it was the biggest mistake I think I've ever made. Um, because it's not just me dating, right? Like I do have two girls, and it takes me a long time. Like that's one guy, and there's been guys that I've gone on dates with, 3, 4, 5 dates, and then it just doesn't work out because they don't go through my
Yeah.
vetting process. They barely ever make the 3 month mark. I'm open to it. I still am open to it. Talking to people and getting to know someone, but I fear that nobody wants to go at the pace that I feel comfortable with, because I do want to get to know you, and it's not a little decision for me to bring someone into my space and what I have, right? Um,
I think
hey, thanks for the follow.
oh yeah, by the
Um,
way, Kevin, then I want to say this right. Veronearly, thank you for the follow earlier. I appreciate you guys.
thank you for the follow.
um
So in that so before I was more open to it, being more receptive, saying yes to dates. When I get asked out to come to downtown, I would just say yes because I'm like, let's see, let's go, like do it for the plot kind of thing. Like
mhm.
no expectations, just meet people, because I do love meeting people. I know I joke
Yeah.
about being inside all the time, but I genuinely do like meeting people. I like going out and like seeing people, meeting new people, learning their stories. Like I do genuinely enjoy that piece of it. But when I introduced that man to my kids, there was a period of time where like he didn't follow through with the things he said, and I watched my kids' hearts break.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I like experienced that, and I was like, "Whoa, that's rough." Like for Bella on her birthday to be crying because he didn't pull through or say that, like, be there for her, because he was like, "Oh, so and so was supposed to be here. He said he was going to get me this, and he said we were going to do this." And I'm like, oh my God, like, how? I don't want to do that again, like, ever, ever again. So now from today forward, I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence right now where I want to love and I want to let someone in, but I'm scared.
I have a question for you that I think would answer, or actually that might be the answer for you. Of like you say that you're scared, and I think you're gonna give yourself the answer with this next question is now going forward, how do you teach your daughters about self-worth and love and relationships and respect, especially in a world of social media, in a world where you are Jess Rides, Jess Games, where they have a spotlight already just being associated with you? What is something that
Yeah.
you're gonna focus
So,
on?
so the online space is scary. I used to share my kids a lot online when I was kind of like a baby influencer, I would say, because they were a huge, they're huge, they still are. You guys see, they're a huge part of my life. Um, and especially Kylie, like Kylie is just like my little confidant. Like she's right there with me doing all these things. You guys see her more, right? But Bella's right here too, but you guys don't see her as much, and that's by design. I eliminated them offline, I think, a few years into my social media stardom or whatever you want to call it, because it's a scary place. Here's what did it for me, chat. I had 1.4 million people on TikTok, and I was sharing Kylie's journey riding. And for 1 year on her birthday, I bought her a dirt bike, and we did a surprise. And I recorded the whole thing and I posted it online. And Kylie, um, she's a beautiful little girl. I was the whole video was just the surprise. She was so excited. She got her motorcycle. It was such a beautiful moment. My brother was there. Like Everyone was there. She was totally caught off guard. It was after we had just done a whole track day and we were renting bikes, and she was like, "Mom, this bike's so small." And I, when am I going to get my new bike? I've been doing this and I've been putting in the work. And I was like, yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it. And then we get to my brother's house and the dirt bike's there and she's so excited. Yeah. And it was this moment that we shared online, and the comments were, you should have bought her braces instead of getting her. She's 7, by the way. She can't get braces yet. Like, but she's got her dad's teeth, like they're messed up. Like my stuff's not straight either. And they were just like flaming her looks, and they're like, oh, you need to give her a cheeseburger because she's thin, right? I'm like, dude, she's 7. Chat, like, you know what I mean? And she ended up seeing one of those comments, and Kylie, I don't know if you're here, but she went into like this mode where she was like, she didn't even want to smile and stuff, and it like, that broke my heart. So then I was like, all right, we're done. And then I like posted this little family photo of us at the beach, not thinking anything bad with it. It was just me and my kids. And naturally I'm in a bikini, like they're in bathing suits, like whatever. And these creepers messaged some really nasty things about their bodies and how beautiful my kids were and that I should post more photos of them. I lost my mind. I lost my God. Like I went into like John Wick mode. Like I sent it to like my tech friends. I sent their profiles to my tech friends. I was like, find their IP addresses. I want to know where they live. Like I went bonkers. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the decision. I need to take them down. And this is before I think family bloggers got like real big and it became like a thing on YouTube. And it, from a content creator perspective, every video I posted of my children got millions of views because they do cool things. They're cool kids. They shoot guns. They ride motorcycles. Kylie goes outside and catches iguanas. Like she's such a little beast. Like I love it. But at that point I took her off and I said, Kylie, when you turn 13, we'll revisit this. But for right now, you're offline. Well, like, and I talk about my kids, but they're just not a presence online. So from that perspective of the beauty standards and the things that social media does to children at a young age, I don't want them online. And that's such a weird thing to say as an influencer. Like, I don't want that. No,
it's not weird at all. It's not weird at all. Like I've gotten, comments and judgments of me exposing Rose too much. I think you are much more protective of your girls online and their presence and concealing, their identities and stuff. Now, like for me, I think what's important also to think about is there's another dynamic to where they're gonna be exposed to online at some point. And so what is Jess doing as going forward as a mama, as a leader? Forget about online, forget all about that.
What is Jess doing? You asked two things, like from a social perspective, like until they're 13 they don't get social media, and even then Kylie's got it kind of locked down. She doesn't have free time. Like it's very like in a bubble, right? And Kylie and I have such great communication. As a mom, I'm trying to make sure she talks to me about everything, any problem, any questions she has. She comes to me about anything, and I love our relationship that we have. And I think open communication is just the best possible thing I can give her. And that's it, and molding her into your, what people say is a reflection of them. It has nothing to do with you. Your confidence comes from within, and that's something that you control, right? So she's blossomed into now this confident. You guys see her on stream, right? Like now she streams because she's 13. She literally held it to me like to the day. She's like, Mom, I'm 13 today. Like, where's my Twitch stream? Like, I want to be online. I want to do this. And so we set it up and I let her have it. But I said, listen, I have limits. You're still underage and I still want to cover your face. I want that, that protection for you. And then when you're 18, you can make that decision if you want to put yourself out there online. And that's my rules. And she's cool with that, right? And we came to that agreement and that's fine. Bella, still offline. You only see the back of her head. She doesn't have any social media whatsoever within limits, for stuff. Outside of online and everything, from a mom perspective, I do want to raise my kids to be my girls, I should say. I've got 2 girls. I want them to be the most independent, like, just confident. They know they're beautiful, they're sweet, they're nurturing. I want them to know how to cook and clean and take care of themselves and make their own money. I never want them reliant on anybody, right? I want them to be good human beings, caring, thoughtful, empathetic. I want all of that for them. So that's kind of where I lead my parenting structure. I'm very lenient on a parenting style, almost to the fact that Kylie's friends' moms are like, I don't like
Yeah,
her mom because she's too lenient.
Yeah, we're
but you know
both
what?
a little lenient.
I am super lenient. You guys see me. I let Kylie stay up late, but you know what? She gets straight A's. She has no problems at school. She has no behavior issues. She's on the principal's list. She doesn't miss a day of freaking school. Like, sometimes she lets me sleep in and she's like, Mom, I got it. I'm on my way to school. Like, she's so good. She's such a good kid. She's open. She tells me everything. She's not sneaking out. Like, she's such a good kid, you know?
I want to cut you off really quick.
I just want to say,
go ahead.
no, I was just
go
gonna say
ahead.
one thing. Her friends' parents, like their kids reach out to me because they don't feel comfortable going out to their mom to talk to them about stuff. So I'm like, you can knock my parenting style, but your kid's coming to me about problems. You know what I mean?
We're the cool parents.
so-
All the other parents hate us, but like we're like
guess.
all the other kids love us. There's you know, it's I've talked about this with you specifically, where Rose is the same dynamic, straight A student. Like she just does nothing wrong. And I have brought it up to where I feel like it's a mask for Rose, in an aspect of, like, I see you, Jess, and I see this strong woman that's just like, I'm good. I don't need no help. I don't need nothing at all. Like I'm taking care of myself. This is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But not asking Kylie.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, like, what's behind that? What's that inner? What is that inner child asking for? Like, if your inner child,
help.
if you were
help, you know, someone to take care of me, because like, and this is gonna get me emotional. Okay. I've never had anyone take care of me, ever, you know.
It's okay.
And it's exhausting. It is. It's tough. And I have, like, you guys know my history with my parents, right? And now my grandfather and my grandmother, you know, who were the light of my life, they've obviously grown old and passed away in their old age, and I don't have anybody.
So when you look at who you are now, when I look at who you are now, and you see Kai and I see Rose, like I said, this is something you and I both relate on.
Yeah.
What do you do differently so she doesn't have these same feelings when she's your age? How does back to my original question, what does Jess do? Not online, but going forward, what does Jess do?
Honestly, it's hard because the one thing that I haven't done as a mom is shown them how to lean on someone. I haven't brought anybody in my life that Kylie looked at and was like, wow, mom can lean on him, right? Nobody. She basically, like, you guys see her, she's I'm still battling with it, and I'll probably battle with it forever, is like showing her that you can be vulnerable with somebody because you can trust them. Because anybody I've brought around them, she's like, well, can't trust him. Like, look at this dude. Kylie went through that abusive relationship with me.
It's so hard.
She does not trust me. She does not trust my choice. And then, you know, the one guy I introduced did the same thing. You guys see her. You have to get through me. Like, she's very protective. She doesn't trust nobody. I don't, honestly, like, that's one thing that I have to work on as a parent, is like, how do I let her know she can put trust in people, and it's okay if they mess up, because that has nothing to do with you. It has just everything to do with them. Well, right? And I've learned not to let my old wounds bleed onto new people. You know, just because I've had shitty stuff happen in the past doesn't mean I'm going to apply that to someone new that I meet. You know, I treat everybody with a blank slate. And I think that says a lot to me, because it took a lot to get there.
Has anyone in chat just has not necessarily been fully healed and started on a new friend, doesn't have to be relationship, but a new friendship, where past things still trigger you, to where it leads to negative energy in your own mind, your own emotion. You just start talking to someone, it's their first week talking, and you know they tell you, I'm going to bed at 6 o'clock, and you're like, are they really going to bed? Are they doing this? Thank you, Jess, for sharing that. And this leads me to my last question about our some of our childhood in relationships is, if you were to go back in time, and to see yourself back in time, there's two parts to this. What do you think your younger self would say to your older self?
It's not your fault.
And then now, looking back where you are now, like, what would your older self say to your younger self?
Get therapy sooner.
Clip that. It's facts, though. It's facts. It's
for real. Like, people knock on therapy. I was in Alcoholic Anonymous, like, support groups and stuff, not because of my battle with substance abuse, but because my mom's, right? They always put me in these like juvenile youth groups and like all that stuff. And I don't think I was in there long enough. And I think had I stuck through it or done the program, I think that mindset of like, I'm good, I got this. Like, I made the choice to cut my mom off at 16, and I haven't talked to my mom since I was 16 years old. Chat. Like, I still haven't, because that's a lie. I talked to her at 19. I cut off at 16. I gave her another chance at 19. I kind of saw her situation and still saw that she was like battling with stuff. And I was like, well, like, let's keep in touch, but keep it at a distance. Right. And then I had Kylie at 20. I had Kylie at 21. And as soon as I held Kylie in my arms, I was like, how could you? How could you do that to me and my brothers? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And I realized we were just two different people. Because there is nothing in this world that would make me drive drunk with my children in the car or, do the things that she did to me. Like, there's just no freaking way. I just love those babies so much, there is nothing I would do 100%. To put them in harm's way. And I kind of went from understanding, even though I still understand it's a disease and everything, I just wasn't going to go along the path of her journey of not getting clean. I know down to her heart, she just didn't want to get clean. She's still not clean. And what I wasn't going to do is introduce Kylie to that, from my space, at least my side of the family. She wasn't going to see that here. She was just going to get stability and honesty and all that. Yeah, Sunglass Kid. My mom used to pick me up drunk from school, and I was young, so I didn't know she was drunk. I would call my dad.
There's also such things as high functioning alcoholics, where like they can just operate day-to-day life being drunk all day long. And not saying she was or not, but
intoxicated.
Like,
she wasn't high functioning. Like, you could definitely tell she was like, she had these ups and downs where she'd be sober and then she'd fall off the wagon and it would just be like a debilitating mess the whole time. And I don't know how we made it home safe, to be honest with you. And I would call my dad from the home line because we didn't have cell phones back then, and I didn't know what it was. When I was a child, I didn't know it was alcohol. I didn't know what, like, she was on pills. I didn't know. And I'd call my dad and I'd say, my mom is acting funny again. Mom's acting funny again. As a kid, because I didn't know exactly how to communicate it, but I was like, mom's acting funny. And my dad at the time ran a charter boat. He had a 41-foot Hatteras that he would be out all day on the boat. And we wouldn't.
Who is this right here?
I would just have to. Oh, that's my dad.
Hey, we shout out to Papa.
That's my dad.
And
hey.
just bringing this up, guys. I hope everyone can. Yeah. Can you see it, Jess, on your screen?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
what's it? Hey, speaking of dad, tell me about this. What's this picture? Where are you guys at?
Yeah, so we're out, and I think we're not out on the yacht. I think we're out on his Parker. We had many boats. I grew up on boats, right? I do fish, Sunglass Kid. I was out on the boat. Sometimes I would have to get picked up from school. My dad's like, we got a 6-hour charter, kid, because like my mom's, drunk, and he was like, I got no choice. I got an afternoon charter. You're coming with me. And I'm out on the boat, and I'm like mating for him,
That's
like
a big looking
doing all the mate
goldfish
stuff.
That looks like a gold, like I don't know my fish.
Snapper. Thank you very much. Snapper. But yeah, I can tie a triple hook rig. I can fillet fish. I can, brush down boats. Like,
and so, is there anyone in chat?
Fishing.
Is there anyone in chat that knew that about Jess? That knew she'll hang with the fishermen.
Dude, I love slaying fish. I love it.
Nemo, if he was on steroids, that's so funny. That's so funny. I just want to take a quick second. Thank you guys so much for being here today. This is my first time ever doing a live interview like this. Like I said, I had some nerves going into it too, and I'm nervous. But I think it's amazing to see the people here. Don't even tell me. I'm not even looking. I don't even know how many people are here right now. I don't want to know.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Either. I'm trying not to look.
Don't say it. Like whether there's 5 people here or not, it doesn't matter. I talked to Jess earlier, guys, and I told her, I was like, it doesn't matter about the viewership because there's gonna be a couple people here that can truly relate, and like it's about the shifter spotlight. SHYFTER'S spotlight is something that that's what we're here for. We're here to connect. We're here to relate. And like I told Jess, I was like, you have so much more to you than just JessR1des and just Jess Games. Like there's who are you underneath that? Underneath, once you stop the live stream, like when you can, it's like that 9-to-5 job where you rip off like your customer service mask and like you unzip out of your suit. When I get out of my, who am I underneath the purple hoodie? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. And I've never done, I was super nervous coming into this because I've never really, like I've talked a little bit about my abuse. I do fundraising every Sunday, every June. I do for Narc Abuse Awareness Day, and I raise money for the company the nonprofit that helped me get out of the situation I was in, and I raise money for that. So I'm pretty open about that. I think I talk every like Mother's Day, Father's Day, where I'm just like, hey, if you don't have parents involved, like I see you, that kind of stuff. So I kind of talk about it a little bit, but I've never really gone into detail.
Someone said Jess fishes.
Jess fishes. I know. You guys see the branding problem? Because like you guys see like, oh shoot, my thing fell out of my ear. But you guys see behind me, I've got like books, I've got motorcycles, I got plants. Like there's so much I do. That it's hard from a branding standpoint. Like I was telling you guys in the beginning of this stream,
everyone's hitting them with
Jess does things.
Jess does things. Well, this brings me into the next section of life as an influencer. I think the one thing I truly admire about you is your pain and your struggles are the reason that you're pushing, not the reason why they're holding you back. And I know it's I think we look at relationships, connections, and then there's on top of just dealing with personal life and the things that you're going through behind the scenes, then there's a creator life, there's influencer life, which is hard. And for those of you guys that don't know, Jess also works full time.
I have a full-time job.
She's grinding, y'all. Like she's working very hard.
I own property. I rent it out. I property manage. She's
doing a lot.
And that comes from trust issues because like TikTok just got deleted yesterday, right? And my account got banned. I always feel like the rug's gonna get pulled out from under me, and that is like a huge trigger for me when things like all of a sudden leave. So I have all these like different sources of income because I'm always like, well, what if that ends? Then what do I do? And it's because I don't have a security blanket, right? I don't have a security blanket. I literally, if I don't put food on that table for the kids, my kids don't eat.
Yep.
Right. So,
but does she sleep?
I have nobody to fall on. I don't sleep. Like literally, I'm telling you, I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. I am non-stop when I tell you guys like what my life is like, So it's pretty insane.
Well, since you've been creating content for a long time now, and I think we're gonna expose Jess with this one, guys. I said I said I wasn't gonna expose you. I'm gonna share it real quick. Let's go right here, guys. Can you explain a little bit?
Oh my god!
Can you hang on. I talked about this earlier. I have a quote in my song. They were laughing at me. Now they all just got their hands out. You got to find a way to stand out, and this picture stands out. So I see you in the heels.
Oh, this is my first motorcycle. Yeah. So I did a little bit of modeling when I was a child from my grandfather, like getting me in with like Burdines for stuff, and I was like around modeling and all that. So I was just like offering. I never did anything like professionally, right? I never took it to that level. I was always
This
short.
is professional.
I'm 5'4". I couldn't be.
Shout out to guys. This is JessR1des right here. What? Keep
Oh
going. I was
God.
listening. Keep going. Keep going. I'm not trying to throw you off track.
So like I would take up these modeling gigs for photographers that would just reach out who they needed like someone to stand in, and that's what I would do. And it was either like I would bring my car or my motorcycle or like show up to stuff. And that this was not a professional one, but this is my first motorcycle that I had.
I mean, that seems
and
professional
kind of like
for being in like
influencer life.
I mean, like that was like what 40 years ago. You're 70 now, so like
40. Yeah, it was like 40 years ago, my first motorcycle. My God, like super low res. I don't even know if where the high quality stuff is.
Hey, those pictures are badass. You better get one of those framed. This is gonna be a legendary photo. It's like it almost seems like it's not even you. Like it almost like
it's not
the growth. The growth has been.
That was a time of my life where I chopped. I feel like I called it, like a pre-quarter life crisis. I think I was right when I bought my house. I bought my house at 19 years old, guys. That was in front of my house. I chopped my freaking hair off. I bought a house. I just went through this like mini life crisis, right? And I think it was more just I had never been able to be a kid or do what I wanted. So I was just like, I'm gonna do everything I fucking want. I'm gonna travel to California. I'm gonna go
just
do all
hop
this
on
stuff
some flip flops and
did.
hop on a JessR1des
and
like,
live my life.
Gosh.
I'm gonna jump out of airplanes. I'm gonna get everything I can possibly get pierced. Like I went through this phase, right, of just like doing whatever I wanted and just kind of like wild out in a way. Like the amount of parties I threw at my house when I was like, don't ever give a house to a 19-year-old.
Well, look at it's okay. It's all good. We've all got those. Trust me, my mom exposed me. She showed some old pictures of me. We talk about this content creation journey. What got you?
So that was before content creator, because like those are like the only photos I have of me on that bike.
I need to pull up something.
And I had been riding like 4 or 5 years.
Tell them while I'm pulling something up. Tell them about what got you into motorcycles. How old were you when you first got into motorcycles?
So my dad had me on a 3-wheeler before I could walk. And my mom, I remember, this is one argument I remember. And my mom's like, she can't even walk. What if she falls off of that into the mud? And my dad's like, she didn't. Like she's fine. Like literally Emmy's age, like barely hobbling around, barely just getting my footsteps.
I got it right here. It's coming up.
3-wheeler.
Let me just do this.
On a 3-wheeler that is now outlawed, chat, for being dangerous, by the way. That's what I grew up riding. And my dad had me in the shop working on things.
Can you see this?
Yeah, here's proof. There we go. That's baby Jess, like working on a 3-wheeler. I'm wrenching.
Wait, where'd it go? No, I'm trying to figure this all out. I need to bring up one more picture really quick. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. We have this right here. What is going on in this? This is a fire photo, by the way. This is like what, guys. JessR1des.
Okay, now you're fast forwarding a little bit. You're fast forwarding.
I'm all over the place. I'm sorry.
My whole childhood was like on machines. So my dad very much got me into things. I was he always joked. So just so chat knows, I had before I went to therapy, someone would ask me my relationship with my dad and I'd be like, "Oh, it was so great. Like he loved me. He had me everywhere. He brought me with him. He showed me work ethic, like all that stuff. But I do think he had some narcissistic tendencies. And I see that now after I went through therapy and things. So I think he always meant well, but it was never an act of selflessness. It was always selfishness. Like he just broadcasted that he was this great, whatever. Anyways, let's not get into it. But he did show me the mechanics and taught me how to fix drywall. And he would joke with his friends, which now I kind of think is a little fucked up. I mean, fudged up a little bit. Because he'd be like, "Oh, I wanted a son. I just wanted a son, and because I didn't get a son, I just raised her like a son."
Mm-hmm.
So that was very much his mentality, where it was like it didn't matter. He got me like a power drill set for Christmas one year, I
I
think.
think
You know,
I
like
think what I'm trying to do here, and by showing all those pictures and talking about this is like, Jess ain't, it's not, she's not doing this to be a motorcycle. Like, I ride bikes, I'm cool. Like,
oh,
this has been a part
to
of
get
your life.
attention and yeah,
This has
my whole
been,
life.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so
I
you're
think my
more of a
first.
motorcycle enthusiast than I am. Way more than I am, to be honest.
Thanks for the bits. Appreciate you.
Biddies, throw some biddies.
Lemon fan.
You know,
But yeah, very much ingrained since
I
an
throw
early age.
people
I was
your
on
way when
on
people talk
everything.
to me about motorcycles, like really technical or just more advanced stuff. I'm like, go talk to Jess. Like,
And I don't even know that much. I just have
I
been
mean,
around
just
it a
your
while, and if I
experience.
don't know, then I pass you on. Yeah.
It's
But there's always, again, just like personal growth, there's always more. You can always ride better, right? Even Valentino Rossi is learning every day to ride better, you know, and do different things and whatever. But yeah, I've been around for a long time. I love riding. I have a passion for it, genuinely, and I will never stop riding, you know. So,
Major Bananas
yeah, it'll
gifted
always
2
be part of my.
subs. Thank you so much,
Let's
Major.
go.
Bananas. It's bananas. So you know, you've been creating content for a decade, and like I can, you know, think about the ups and downs of the struggles of being a content creator. What is one moment on your journey that was truly like a, oh my god, like you were so happy, you were so like, what was one of the highs of your journey? I know there's a lot, but like what was a big
Oh man.
significant high that helped you keep going?
Yeah, so I kind of fell into this thing by accident, showing a friend of how to post and use hashtags and pay attention to post times and stuff. And I posted these photos and it kind of just blew up. I think those photos back then when I first started have more likes than the photos I post now at
I can
10x
relate.
the
I can
following I
relate.
have. You know, like they did so good back then and it just kind of blew up on accident. And I just kind of was like, well, I guess this is a thing now. And I kept going with it. So I never meant it to be this entire thing that it has become. But I would say the year after I left my abusive ex, I spent so much time just harvesting the benefits of social media. And what I mean by that is not just like financially, right? I just was like, there were so many opportunities and doors that opened and people I met and
Mm-hmm.
friendships that I built and that I would never. Yeah, I'm such good friends with JessR1des who's in London, right? I've met you in Wisconsin. I've met Robin Stunts
Minnesota,
from California.
close.
Like, or I'm sorry, Minnesota.
Just
What did I say?
don't
Wisconsin?
ever refer to me as a Wisconsin
Sorry.
foreigner. Oh my
Why did I
gosh.
say that?
All right,
I
well
think I
that's
was
it for
thinking of
Shifter
someone else.
Spotlight, guys. Thank
Sorry,
you so
that's
much
it.
for
We're
coming through.
done. That's it. Justin's out. No, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
so
no, it's
sorry.
all good.
My brain's getting ahead of me. I've met people from all over. I from Utah, like Sammy, Two Wheel Sammy. Like I've just had these opportunities to meet so many people that I would have never been able to had I just stayed this little like
Mm-hmm.
reclusive girl in Florida, you know? And now I'm online and I've got friends all over the country and just connections everywhere. And I've seen this motorcycle space grow, especially with the women involved, like women being in the sport. I've seen them grow in this, and it's so cool to see. I went from doing a group ride with 60, 70 bikes and being the only, like the singular only girl, or going to a track day and being one of two women there, to now we have this like South Florida biker girl crew and there's like 100 girls,
That's crazy.
you know, that they're all riding and it's like only women. And it's such an amazing thing to see. And I've seen such cool stuff from that perspective. But I can tell you, I picked the wrong genre to like be an influencer in.
Well, I don't think.
From a financial standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. From a financial standpoint, it is pretty tough. To you
It's
know,
hard.
you can make
Yeah.
a few dollars here and there, and you can do things. And there are creators
Not
that
from a motorcycle brand. Not a single motorcycle brand. Everything
it's
else
really
though.
tough. It's really tough. Yes.
Yeah.
Damn near impossible. But
Yeah.
it kind of leads me to the next question is what's something that people think about content creation that's so like What's something that people get completely wrong about being an influencer? Like you know, where they
that we're all rich.
they,
They think we're making all this money. Like, and what's crazy is, yes, you're right, because I have friends in now other genres outside of the motorcycle, and I think I really was awakened in the last 2 years to this fact, because I was grinding hard in the motorcycle space. I was like, I just got to put in the time, I got to put in the effort, and I'll grind my way to the top, and I'll do my thing and network, and I have. You guys see me sponsored by some of the biggest brands in the motorcycle space. All of that. Like, I've worked with the biggest brands out there, and they don't have the marketing budget to compensate creators for the work that we put in, and it takes a lot of time. You guys may be like, oh, I feel like the term influencer is so bad, because like some people abuse that power, even in the motorcycle space. Like, I don't want to get into it, but there's a lot of people out there that have platforms that shouldn't have platforms, you know, that they're just like rotten to the core, and they abuse it, right? And then there's some people that actually respect the audience they have and put it out there. But that's not to say that everything we do isn't work. Editing, content producing, the years and years and years of stuff that I've researched to know how to do. Like, you know better than anybody how much work goes into creating a content schedule, being consistent, showing up every day, replying to comments,
it's tough,
doing that
y'all.
across 5 platforms. It's tough. It is really tough. And it's a lot of work, and I've been doing it for free for most of the time, like 99%. That's why I still have a full-time job. I don't make that much money on social media. I do make money, but not a lot, not where I could quit my job. You know, and in other spaces, yes, you can. Fashion, beauty, travel. There's people I talk with that are making 6 figures. They're making $14,000 per TikTok video. One influencer 2 days ago was like, all right, TikTok's going away. How much was your biggest brand deal? And he was like, he's got like 6 million followers. He's like, I made 50 grand for one post. That's the kind of money they're making. And I can't even get a motorcycle brand to cover my flight to promote their event. That's what it's like in the motorcycle space.
Rose and I went to LA.
Just to be honest with you guys,
when we went to LA, like I paid for those Rose and I to fly there.
And that's insane to me, because you're not only taking the time, and they're paying you pennies, right? Like, that would have been a $10,000 gig, right? And I guarantee it was a fraction of that, right?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And
I walked away with under $1,000 after, like, almost like less, literally less than $500 after expenses and stuff like.
And it's very much like that. Like, they'll pay for product. They'll send you product all day long.
Oh yeah.
But they will not pay. What I tell influencers now, if you're ever trying to be an influencer, brands cannot go to a TV or a radio station and say, hey, let me put an ad on that television station you have, and I'll send you some product for it. I'll send you some t-shirts.
They ain't gonna do
television
it.
And then but like, I want you to create the commercial too. You know, hey, TV station, you got to create the commercial. You got to edit it, produce it, post it, run it, and advertise it to your millions of followers or your millions of views. But I'm going to pay you in t-shirts. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
No.
So when influencers, we see them now and they're like, oh, well, you know, such and such sent me this $500 thing. I'm like, okay, that didn't cost them $500. That's what they're selling it for. Like, what about your time, your effort, your audience, your reach? You try to run an ad on Facebook right now and reach 1 million people. It costs $30,000.
I know, right? Or you know, like you know, there's an example of like you've got 200K plus followers, but we're reaching you know, 10,000 of those followers, and then it's like, but you can boost your posts, you can boost it, and we can reach more followers. I'm like, why do I have to boost a post to reach more of my following? It's fun. But like you said, the cosmetics are like, you know, Marmar just brought it up. Marmar works at a cosmetic brand. Just some influencers get a lot for us for just one story. I'm just
one story. I'm saying, like, the cosmetic. So here, to put things in perspective, be a content creator, but please don't be one in the motorcycle space if you expect to make money. There are people out there that are anomalies, like creators that I'm friends with that do make a lot of money on YouTube, right? But they're not making money from brands.
It's from YouTube. And a lot of it.
It's from YouTube money, views, platforms are paying you. But here's the issue I have with that. is that they're cutting out a huge sliver of potential revenue for a business if they're trying to treat this as a business from brands, because brands are the number one way that you make money as an influencer or content creator. And I'm just being real, you know, and then it's up to you to find that influencer that's actually like vetting these brands out and pushing out like a legit product. There was a helmet brand that went crazy viral, came into the market, but their helmets were trash, but they were paying their influencers $4, $5, $6, $8,000 a month to promote their helmets, and people were selling out for it.
Are you talking
I had
about
the same opportunity?
Whoa, are you talking about this brand right here?
I don't know, maybe
This one that I had. That's my
Does
OG
it rhyme
helmet.
with Brewrock?
Yeah, this is the
so
OG helmet right here.
I can't confirm nor deny which helmet brand, but there is that looks very similar to the brand that I'm talking about. I continue promoting the helmets that I actually stand by, and I am sponsored by Dainese in full disclosure. And you guys know, I tell you all the time, I'm sponsored by Dainese, sponsored by Cardo, sponsored by Insta360. Like I will tell you who sponsors me, but I actively use those brands, right?
Yeah,
I will use them till
and I think that's a big thing
out.
too.
You see
don't
me every single day.
Don't sell yourself out too, you know, to those creators that are up and coming. Like I'll never forget. Do you remember getting your first, you know, like sponsor, or like, you know, like that first Cardo that you got, or like, it feels good, you know. It does feel good when you get the free products.
It does.
And that's how they get you.
Like, oh
they get you. Feels good.
And you can't blame them either, because from a business perspective, like I run
fantabulous
businesses, so
idea.
It's fantastic. You have people advertising for free. They're doing it for free. Like, why would you spend money? It costs nothing to you. And why would you spend money on that content creator who wants $2,000 a post if I can get 10 baby influencers to do it for free, right? That don't know their worth. And so a lot of what I do is, even if you have 1,000 followers, you can charge $40 a post. You can still charge money. That's 100%. Still 1,000 people. And if anything, someone with 1,000 followers, sometimes they get more engagement than we do at a bigger level. Like their engagement rate's higher. It's all relative, right? So if you have 1,000 people, but 400 people are seeing your stuff and engaging with it, and you have a click-through rate of, you know, 60% or whatever it is, like that's a lot higher than my 12%, my 8%, my 2% sometimes.
So this actually brings me right into this brings me into this next question that I have actually written down. Is like being a larger influencer. I remember the old days of being very connected with my community. I would respond to every DM. I would respond to every comment. But as we've grown, what does authentic relationships look like to you now? Like, how does, in a world full of having hundreds of thousands of followers and being on Twitch all the time, like, how do you make time for authentic relationships? It's that, I know, right? And there's no right or wrong answer to these questions. This is more or less for you to think about. It's not. There's no right or wrong answer.
Right. So early on in my influencer content creator journey, I'm very open. Like I said, while I do have trust issues, I mostly have trust issues on people like doing what they say and not screwing me over, right? But I'm always very open with everybody. Like anybody new, I genuinely, like everybody new, I will tell you how I do things. If you want questions, you want to know, I'm an open book. You want to know how I got in with Insta360, I'll help you. Like I did this, I did that. Like I will tell you exactly how I networked, what I did, my strategy, why I do it, my brainstorming. And I've always been very open with that. And then I realized that not a lot of people deserve that, because I've been screwed over by content creators that you guys know good and well, where they kind of essentially got their platforms because of me or situations that I've helped with, right? And then when it came time for me to say, hey, so-and-so, I need help, they were gone. Or they said, no, I can't do that for you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just did all this stuff. Like, whoa, why, you know? So I've scaled back a lot. I've reclused a lot. I've cut out people. I've, you know, I think something that your mom said about boundaries, like that call that you guys had, resonated so well with me, because in my healing these past few years, I've really put up some boundaries where if I don't see a reciprocating energy, I do not put it in anymore. I cut so many people out of my life that were just like, pulling and pulling and pulling, like just taking from me. And I was just like giving to them because I was like, I forget what it was. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm a people manager. There's like two ends of the spectrum. Like there's people pleasers, and then there's like people who want to please because they want to be liked, and people who want to please because they want to help people, and they just have this like endless need to help. And that's me. I just want to help everybody. I want to help everyone who come to me, and I just want to like assist and help.
Remember we talked about this being, you brought it up. We it was like mutually brought up in the group of how it can come off as selfish.
I want to look it up.
That we wanted that. Remember we talked about how it's almost a selfish act of us, because I'm the same way. I want to help everyone. I want to take care and be there for everyone.
Yeah.
So that others, you know, not saying that's what it is, but there's so many dynamics that go into like, especially with where we're at of relationships. There's so many people that reach out to us on a daily basis. We have DMs everywhere we look, everywhere we blink. So it's definitely it's a tough thing to struggle with, and to remaining and that's why I think that the Twitch stream has been really nice, because it's been a way for us to navigate and communicate with our audience rather than responding to 100 DMs a day, of just being here and being present. And just really quick, I have it right here, guys. Like I literally have it right here. My mom, the last stream, she brought up this quote, and it was legendary. She said that we don't, because I have really bad trust issues as well. And she said like the moment you're ready to heal is the moment you realize that we don't learn to trust people, but we learn to set boundaries. And when those boundaries are crossed, I think who here in chat has been hurt multiple times by the same person. Why won't they won't change, they won't follow through. And imagine like someone hurting you one time and you're done with them. You know, like they ain't gonna hurt you again. So
yeah,
it's tough. It is tough. Tough.
There's a range. Yeah, you know, and so I have a few close friends. Like I think you said the other day, was it you that said the other day? You're like, Jess, you have a lot of friends. And I'm like, I don't
think you have many friends.
Right.
I think you have friends. I'm just kidding.
Do you guys have friends? I have a handful of very core individuals that have been with me for a very long time. Like I think my longest friend right now is like a 15-year friendship, and you know, he's very, very close to me, and we've been through a lot together. And you know, I love his wife. His wife loves me. Like it's just, you know, that kind of partnership. And I have a, you know, friend in out of state. I've, you know, and a few friends down here too in Florida. I think like one or two that I can really, really rely on, that I knew that if I was in trouble, I could call and they'd be there immediately, you know. But I can count them on one hand. You know, and that's
pretty much
just
the same way.
Reality. You know, I can count them on one hand, and those are the people that are true to me. That I found that I'm an open book, and I'm very honest. And what I saw is that I knew a lot of people know JessR1des, but only a handful of people know Jess, right? And that's kind of why I was so nervous about doing this exactly, because I am an open book. But what I've found is that the more open I am, the more people hurt me with that information, or they're not as happy for me. Like I remember going to a bike ride, on the motorcycle. I went to a group ride, and I was talking about how I was working the partnership with Dineze, and I was so excited and was talking about it, and they were like mad about, like, they weren't happy for me, you know? And I'm like, and then I think I realized internally, I'm like, wow, you know, maybe they're not really like friends of mine. You know, so I ride a lot by myself now. I just don't really open myself to a lot of people. You know, I joke about being home all the time. I spend a lot of time by myself with my kids.
I used to
I don't really go out that much.
I agree a lot with what you just said. And I'm in this element of my life where I'm okay being alone. And I think a lot of us struggle with that here in chat. And like my whole life, I have struggled. Like I've always been in a relationship. I've always bounced in and out of relationships.
Same.
I'd be single for like maybe 10 minutes, you know. Like, and maybe not, it doesn't mean officially like I'm
Going
dating
through your
someone,
contact list.
but
Who can
yeah,
I
but
date
like
now? No,
like
just
you know,
kidding.
or like who can I go hang, like
Yeah.
it doesn't even mean like forget the
Yeah.
title, but it's just like I'm giving someone my energy, my love, and like, you know, like I could, it's and like there's
like you need someone.
yeah, 100%. And like we talk about the you know, that wall that we have up, that protective wall that we put over ourselves, but I think you and I both can relate, and there's this aspect of where we do want, there's so many people out there just like us that want that person and that want that love, but we've found a way to like shield ourselves to just to
and
keep going.
And like I said, I don't know if it's unhealthy right now, because I'm on this fence, chat, where like I do want to let someone in. I am such a lover girl at heart that I love loving someone. Like I love it, you know? And I think now it's easy for me to stay single because I can just pour my love into my kids and myself, you know, and I'm okay with that. But it's different when you have someone by your side who can share experiences, and you can grow together and help each other hit each other's goals, and like travel and do all this, share experiences. Like that's really what I'm after, is sharing experiences and growing old together and just having this like profound love for each other. And I'm like, does it even exist anymore? Especially here in Florida.
Oh, it's
Like
got, you're out in
everything's so
South Florida
surface
too.
level.
You're by like Miami, aren't you?
It's like I'm at the Build-A-Baddie workshop.
Yeah, you're like at the worst, probably like the worst place.
Yeah, it's very materialistic here, chat. Like the men offer money and the women offer looks. And that's very much the transactional relationships that we have down here. And it's funny because the way I grew up, I told you guys I had a really bad childhood, but my grandfather made a lot of money. A lot of money. He was very wealthy. So I grew up a lot around very wealthy individuals. I think, Shifter, I might have shared a photo with you when I used to go to galas, the breakers. I was introduced to a profound amount of wealth when I was younger. And he would take me here, but he never changed who he was. He would walk into like Louis Vuitton in like a stained shirt and like stained pants, and they would like turn their nose up at him, and he'd be like, cool, we're gonna go to Gucci then. And then he would go drop 20 racks at Gucci, you know? So like those are the kinds of things, but he worked his butt off for that stuff, and he was so genuine to the core that he really showed me that money doesn't freaking matter. Doesn't matter if it doesn't change it, if it changes who you are on the inside. And he was so generous. He was so helpful. This is a man who made so much money but would get on his hands and knees and prune rose bushes because his wife loved roses, and he would like plant them himself, prune them, build her bouquet, and give it to her every Friday. He would be so busy in board meetings but would take off every Friday to take her to her hair appointment and spend the afternoon with her at the mall because he knew that was important to her. So this is the relationship that, even though that my parents were messed up and I didn't get, I look to him as an example. And like, I swear I would be on the side of the road right now if it wasn't for him and the example he provided. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. And I don't know that it exists anymore. Chat.
Share
I don't
this
know
really
if it
quick.
does.
Can you see this?
Me fishing.
Here's an old picture of you fishing. Who are these two studs right here? These are the. Look at this. You were a rider before you were even existing, almost like you were already.
I guarantee my dad is riding a motorcycle, drinking alcohol.
He's like, yeah. There's like a shot of, you know, like, no, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, like some.
There's a shot of energy in here. And then who's all in this picture? This one right here.
So that's my cousin. That's my grandfather on my mom's side, who's not blood related, but yeah, that's not Papa who I was referring to. But
let me see. I'm trying to find. I don't. You know, it's a classic shifter.
Did I send it?
Moment. No, you
okay.
probably did. Let me really quick. I want to share this one though, really fast. Hang on. Let me go share.
It was this one.
Send it to me real quick. Send it on over. Whoa. Send it on over. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to these like galas at the Breakers. If you guys have never seen the Breakers in South Florida, like Hey, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follows, guys. I'm sorry I'm not paying too much attention to it. We're talking about like other stuff.
In chat, like we do, Jess and I do go back,
Oh my
and we
God.
do look at things. But I told her, I was like, I want your attention. I don't want you too much in chat, so blame it on me.
He told me not to pay attention to chat. I'm sorry, guys.
I said, pay attention to your boy shift. Let me just do this. Okay, I got it right here. So we're gonna go like this.
Oh my God.
Stop,
Such
share,
a nerd.
and then we're gonna go share again. I'm still learning, like,
I've always been a nerd, guys.
Wait. Jeez Louise, hang on.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, did it pop
Yeah, so
up?
this was a gala event where
I got it.
It was there announced.
I'm going. Share. Okay, there we go.
Oh, so this was like a gala event that my grandfather would put on at the Breakers at Palm Beach. Like, it is a very fancy place. If you guys Google it, it's very nice. You have rose petal jam with your breakfast. It's like that, right? It's that kind of stuff. So I grew up around this, and so we were talking about the vanity and just the awfulness of Florida. Men down here will be like, I got a Lamborghini. I'm like, cool, I don't care. You got a boat? Cool, I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother. Like, did I start talking about the guy? Yeah, the other day I was playing Hogwarts and we were talking about this guy who I met. He was a very wealthy man, very nice man, seemingly. And I went on a date with him. He let me drive his R8. We went on a fancy dinner, all this stuff. He had a penthouse in Fort Lauderdale, all this good stuff. But you know what did it for me is that he walked like 20 feet ahead of me when we were going places, and he didn't take care of me. And I could have been like pulled into an alleyway and he wouldn't even have known. In fact, I did a test and I like kind of stopped walking slow. Like, I started walking slower, and I wanted to see how long it would take to notice that I wasn't near him. It took forever. And he turned around and I was like leaning up against the wall and I was like on the phone, and I'm like, I was honestly messaging my friends. I'm like, this jerk is not even paying attention to where I am, and like, I don't care that you let me drive your R8. I don't care that you took me out to a fancy steak dinner. I would rather you pick me up in your beater F-150 and take me to like get Taco Bell and we'll watch the sunset together.
Right.
That means more to me if you're going to take care of me and open the door for me and protect me and make sure that I'm in your eyesight and that I can shut my brain off, because I carry here in Florida. And if I'm having to protect my damn self, what the do I have you in my life for? You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to just like turn my brain off and know that I have a man that I can trust that's going to take care of me, and if shit hits the fan, I'm popping off like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like, I got your back too. But those are the qualities that I look for that just don't exist down here. And he was flabbergasted. He's like, what do you mean you're not coming up with me tonight? And I'm like, I am going home ASAP.
I've talked to you about this too, but there's also this dynamic where y'all want to date JessR1des and be with her, but then y'all gotta, what's it like when Bella's got diarrhea at 3 a.m. and Kai Mind is throwing up everywhere, and like Emmy's been sick. Like it's a whole different ball game when you introduce someone to these kids.
It is,
and there's more depth, and there's so much of this barrier.
And that's another thing too, why I'm on the fence. Like, I gave you that example of the one guy I introduced to them, and like, I don't want to do that again. Like, I never want to break their heart again. And it's like, do I wait until they're old enough and out of the house before I open myself up to somebody? I don't know. And I don't know how to vet somebody, because it's almost like I need to rent kids that are not mine, so I could be like, let me see how you do. Like, I need a kid with a rotavirus real quick. Like, let me know how you clean up someone's vomit.
Take them for a weekend. Take them for the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Like, it's hard. It's hard. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, where I don't even want to bother, because it's like, the one thing that I will say that I'm working on right now that I'm going to revisit, because when I broke up with my abusive ex and I left, I spent a lot of time, on healing. And reading books of self-help. So if anybody's going through that, or anybody, I can definitely recommend The Body Keeps the Score.
What's your book of choice? Go ahead, Jess. What book is that?
Oh, The Body Keeps the Score. I highly recommend this if you or someone has gone through abuse. It's by a psychologist who really breaks down the brain, the mind, the body, and how abuse affects you. They relates it to the PTSD that veterans go through. So it's very much the same way where your body's triggered. I used to get triggered by hugs because my abuser would hold me down a lot, and I couldn't even hug anybody. And it, like, my nervous system would trigger, and my heart rate would elevate, and I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, what is my body doing? Like, why is this happening? And I had to like really understand those things. The other thing is psychopath free. If you or anybody you know has been in a relationship with a sociopath, narcissist, or any type of abuser in that way, psychopath free. I don't have a copy of it because I actually gave it to somebody who was going through a situation.
Like, I got you.
Definitely something I recommend. But I also read this book, which is called Attached. And this is all about attachment styles and relationships, and, you know, finding a secure, identifying what your attachment style is, and also figuring out what your partner's or potential partner's relationship attachment style is.
Does anyone in chat?
I read this, but it didn't.
Anyone in chat have any attachment issues? Raise your hand. I do. I
did. I worked very hard to get rid of them. I'll even show you. I have like a written test in here that I took. And Shifter, I talked to you about this book too.
Yeah.
Look, I took the test. You can see my little marks here. I was anxious attachment style, like heavy leaning. It was very bad for me. And I was naturally like attracted to the avoidant attachments, and I need to get better. Now I'm secure. I'm a very secure attachment style. My nervous system doesn't get triggered. I don't think because you don't reply to me that something's wrong. You know, I don't freak out. Like I act in a lot of security in the way that I operate now, and that's so much. It's so much healing. It's like so peaceful. It's so nice to kind of approach relationships that way now. But I'm having issues identifying other people's attachment styles because I almost want to believe them that they're secure, but they're really not.
Is this this might be something you might be even going through now, but like, have you ever felt, for those out there in chat that can relate, like, have you ever felt like you couldn't love someone the same again, or that you couldn't find love again, or that you wouldn't be able to find, or like you wouldn't be able to recover or heal?
Now I feel like I'm never gonna find someone to love me as much as I love other people. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it exists.
It's
I don't know.
There's an aspect too where I think a lot of us can relate to, where we put a lot of time and energy into things, and like for me, I have so many things going that I'm so excited for, and like there's no way in hell. It's not about throwing it away for a girl, or you know, but like there's no way I will jeopardize what I'm doing for someone else, and that's something that's been one of my fears, is opening up that door, and I've talked about this, but like you're gotta keep it moving. That right there, Alan Gamer coming through. Alan, I hope you're doing well. That right there. But I think there's this I think this is part of healing, though, is we feel these emotions. We feel like it could never happen. We're never gonna get there. And we got Marmar coming through. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Let's go.
I think like I said, when we talk about going forward, what does Jess do to lead the way for those girls and for other girls, that like your story, Jess, the things that you've gone through that you were talking about earlier, is a survival guide for so many other people. There's so many other girls out there, and I don't want to specifically say girls out there. There's men out there too that go through struggles, but like you know, there's men have right now we're talking Jess's spotlight, and there's so many, and as someone that has two girls, and as someone that has, you know, been raised by women my whole life, I've seen the dynamics and the struggles that you guys go through, and the aspect of wanting to be like there's a feminine energy, a soft energy behind those walls. And
1,000%. Like the image that I put, thanks for the follow. the energy that I put out online that you guys see is very much like, people have accused me of being a man hater. Like, you hate men. And I was like, no, I just hate shitty men. So if you're offended, then you might want to look in the mirror. I hate shitty. I hate crappy people. Like, crappy people, women too,
Yeah.
right? Like, I just hate crappy people, and I think it's a society issue, honestly. Hey, Alan, thank you for the gifted in
Alan.
our chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm trying not to get distracted, but
No,
you
it's
know,
okay.
I forget what you asked me now. See, I paid attention to chat.
So you know what? This is
Like,
gonna lead me.
just like giving.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I
Do
forgot
I go
the
ahead?
tangent I was on.
It's
I
all
forgot
right.
what I was saying.
You were just
I
hating
forgot.
on
Oh my
men.
God,
It's
oh my God,
okay.
oh my God. Alan,
So
Alan. No, I'm just kidding.
So this is gonna
Alan,
this is gonna lead us to the last part of this
headed out.
conversation. The last part of this this
Yeah.
interview for right now. But just looking ahead, like what's next for Jess, and it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm releasing this, I'm dropping this, but like even mentally, just the things that you think about, like what's next going forward for Jess.
Yeah. So,
Or what are
what
some big dreams you're chasing?
So let me wrap this up. My image online is very like, don't need no man. I'm good. I'm strong, independent. Like, don't mess with me. And I'm like that. But in relationships, when you actually meet me in person, you realize I am very soft. I'm very submissive. Especially in relationships, I'm a hard ass. I'm very, like, I've learned through therapy now that I will communicate when I'm mad. Like, I will tell you exactly what's on my mind. And some people are afraid of that because I do challenge things, and I do come to you, but I come to you with an I statement. Like, I feel upset when this happens. Like, how do we fix that? I don't attack, and I've learned this like communication style through, co-parenting with my ex, with my daughter and stuff. And we have a very healthy relationship, and stuff like that. So I've learned these communication styles, and I think people realize, they're like, oh wow, you're actually like really chill in person. Thank you for the bits. Like, you're really chill in person. And I think this Twitch journey, so just circling around, has really kind of let people see who I am, where I'm just chill. I'm funny. Like, what you see right now is how I am, is like what you would get in person with Jess. I think Shifter can speak to that. He speaks, we talk a lot throughout the week on this Twitch journey, because we're kind of in this like business growth thing together, and we're really trying to get this Twitch stuff off the ground. And connect with our community. That's how I am, right, Shift? I mean, I might be a little more
right,
open
Shift,
with you,
right?
like, oh my God, like kids are like drawing on the walls. I'm freaking out. Like, you guys don't see that part of it, the day to day. But
there's a reason why I wanted you on here first. And it's not because of you. It has nothing to do with your who you are as an influencer, but it's the dynamics of who you are behind the influencer. And you guys
see me as a mom. You see me with Kylie.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly how we are. Like, you literally get a real life little piece of us.
And
when I go live, right?
let's keep it real here. There's always being an influencer, you have to have a brand, and you have to have an image, and you have to be able to sell yourself a little bit. And like there's a dynamics of playing into certain categories, but I felt this energy where it almost seemed like it was overpowering, and I wanted to come in and be like you have so much more. There's so much more than than what people see.
Strong, independent motorcycle girl that's online, that's like driving a 1000 cc, that's like calling out men. Like, that's very much me. That is a persona. That is me. That legitimately is an image. But I don't think what you guys see, and I do that because in the space of motorcyclists, you cannot be weak. As a woman, you cannot be weak, because online people are going to drag you down so hard that I spent 10 years I rode, chat. 10 years I rode before I got a 1000 cc. And for those 10 years, all I heard was, when are you going to get a real bike? When are you going to upgrade? when are you going to actually get a decent motorcycle? And I was like, I'm kind of good with what I have. Like, thank you. And actually, and then I got the R1, right? I got the 1000 and I love that bike and I have found such respect for it, but I honestly miss my 600. Like I miss my 636. I there's something about that middleweight class that's just so much more functional, you know? Like the R1, I was riding it the other day and I was going down the beach and I was just trying to enjoy the sunset and I tried to slow down a little bit so I could like see the ocean and the sun and the thing's like like it's just like it wants to
I've
go
never
because
been
it's
on
so
1000 cc,
much power.
so I've never
It's
been on one.
it's a monster. It's a monster. And while I love it, it's just not a functional bike, you know, for around the street and stuff. But if I like genuinely though, if I did have to pick one bike to ride, I will deal with the R1 because
R1, that's
there
the
is an
bike.
adrenaline there's an adrenaline in me that I just need when I can open him up, you know, my bike's a boy. Like when I can open it up, there's just I need that speed. I'm an adrenaline junkie to the core and I can't pick like an MT-07 because I get bored on my MT-07 and I'm like, man, I just want like I want to rip it a little bit, you know. So if I had to pick, I'd sacrifice being comfortable and dealing with the choppiness. I'll just pull over, you know. I'll get an e-bike. I'll get an electric
Get
bike.
it right,
Ride,
exactly.
you know.
Adam, thank you for the follow.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
um,
Um, no, I
but
you know,
anyways, yeah, that's
Spooky just said, you know, being a woman online is just already tough. You're subjectifying yourself to
y-
you look at Twitch, like the analytics, like it's a lot of men on Twitch, and
y-
you know,
yeah, yeah.
it is a tough journey, and
It's a tough space.
as a man, like it's I think men deal with like, how do I show respect with and get this person to trust me that I'm not like this, and
Mm,
but then there's women
mm.
that have trust issues. It's just this goes play like it goes hand in hand with trust issues, with letting down your walls, with there's a reason why you protect yourself and why you don't reveal certain
Yeah,
things.
I do. Yeah, there
But I
is.
really
You know,
want
that
to.
presence I give online is mainly for that, is just to show women like you got to be this way. Like you cannot be weak like behind, but when you're out there, it's kind of like a battle, right? Especially being in the motorsport space as a woman riding a 1000 cc, I emasculate a lot of men and they're weenies about it. They are such weenies about it. The amount of hate that I get from men online, you guys wouldn't even believe me. A lot of men, because I love when men are like, you don't get that much hate. I'm like, are you a woman in the motorcycle space? Because you can't tell me what I experience. And women here in, I don't know if there's any motorcycle girls in the chat here right now, but they'll verify it. I'll call 10 girls right now. I'll be like, hey, when's the last time a guy was like, hey, that bike's too big for you? Like you guys,
I'm
they
sure
just
it's
talk
every
down
time you
to
guys go
us, you
out.
know? It's every time, literally every time. If I work but it sucks because I always miss it. I don't have my Insta 360 going, but they'll say something misogynistic. It's getting better as more women get into the sport and it's becoming more obvious. Um, but it is. You got to have that tough exterior, and I do have to put on that front online because I literally don't f with me, you know, because I have to do that, or else it'll just get. I don't get much hate on my page. Where I get hate is when people reshare my stuff. Because I feel like the presence on mine is like, you better be able to run real quick because I'll hit you from 500 yards kind of shit, you know? Like, because I, you know, shoot guns
Yeah,
and I'm protective and I like nobody mess with me kind of thing. But
there's
I'm not like that in person. Don't get me wrong, I'll protect myself, but I'm very much, I'd rather be submissive and very feminine. I don't even, when I go out on dates, I don't even tell them about motorcycle stuff. I show up like in my little dress that I'm wearing and like I'm very feminine and I'm like, I can't open the door,
so
you know?
do you
Like,
think
how,
that portraying yourself as this strong woman could also be the reason why you haven't attracted the right man?
yeah, but the thing is like, Jess rides isn't like, I'm not dating people out of my DMs, you know, if sorry guys, like I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
I,
Or even just like, do you think that,
when
okay,
I,
let me reword this. Do you think that having that being that portraying an image of being a strong independent woman could also be a reason that's going into someone's depression or anxiety or self-love or worth?
it's going like into my depression or
Or
anxiety.
just like, do you think that, like, what is wrong, I guess, with having with showing a gentle side to you more frequently? Like for another woman, I'm not saying you, but like what is, um, I know
you have to embrace your femininity. You have to, like, that is, women are not meant to be what I am. Like the sole provider, the like, I'm basically the man of the house. Like I am career driven and putting food on the table and making business strategies and planning like that is not supposed to be like all on one person. It's supposed to be a team effort. Like you have to submit, you have to be nurturing, you have to be emotional, you have to let your guard down.
I think that's really good you
in a
said that.
relationship. In a relationship, I am so nurturing. I have just this mothering tendency. Like, I want to take care of my man and like scratch his back and let him know I'm his safe space and support him. And like, that's very much how I am. If he wants to be vulnerable, if he's crying, like, if he's going through something, he can come to me and I'll validate how he's feeling. Like, that is how I am in a relationship. And you can't be like closed off and strong and just like have that wall up because you do attract the wrong kind of men. You
So I
do,
think it's fair to say, like, sorry to cut you off, but I think it's just, this is
no,
just because I think it's a way of just letting our audience know that, especially for the woman out there, of there's an importance. I think what's important is that you know when to show that gentle side,
thanks, baby girl.
and when to
Yeah, and knowing who to show it to,
yeah.
who to let that guard down to, and things like that. Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm reading this like attached book now. I'm trying to like really identify that next level of like who I'm looking for, you know, in a partnership and things. So
I've asked you
I think, and I'm not in. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
no, you go ahead, you go.
Well, I was just going to talk about gender roles because you had brought it up a
Please
little
do,
previously.
please bring something
Like,
up.
you know, I I think whatever works in your relationship will work, right? Like your relationship can be however it needs to be, but I really think there's like a fundamental system where it's like the women are taking care of the men and then by that the men take care of the women, right? In different ways. And it's not to say that men are better than women, but we definitely have different strengths and weaknesses and there's a reason why we come together for certain things, right?
Yeah.
And I enjoy cooking for my man. Like I will, but that's like anybody that comes into my house. I'm just very, and that just from like a young kid, I'm always like I was always feeding kids. I was always like making sandwiches and like putting snacks together and like feeding. So anytime you come into my house, I'm like, I made something. Like, you want a sandwich? You want like to eat? Like, that's just how I am to like friends, family, kids that come to my house. I'm like putting charcuterie boards together and like feeding people, you know? So,
Yeah.
um, that's just how I want to be, you know? And I understand the pressure of a man, again, to provide. And a lot of men take that pressure and they think it means financially. And while I am looking for a man that has his life together, I want you to own your house. I want you to make money. I want you to have savings. And it's not because I want it. It's because I have it for myself. And
Yeah.
if you can't provide what I'm already providing for myself, I'm not interested. Like I do that for me, you know, and that's not to say, but I might, you know, you might come in and be like, just sell your house. Like I've got the house, like we'll figure it out. And then we'll buy like 4 investment properties and we'll grow our business together. That's what I want. Like my grandfather said to me when he outlived his wife, my grandmother, but they were together for 65 years or over 65 years or something. That's crazy,
That's a
chat.
long
No,
time.
you don't hear
That's a
that
long
anymore,
time.
right? He, I watched this man love this woman. And when my grandmother died, I said, Papa, how are you? How are you doing? And he said, I feel like a king without his kingdom.
Damn.
And then he slowly deteriorated after she passed and he died of like short few years later. Like he just couldn't function without her. And watching that man just do these little things like curing that rose bush and doing all these little things that were so important to him for her is really what I'm looking for in a relationship. Like that king and queen, yes, he made all the money, But guess who was doing all the bookkeeping and appointments? And she had such amazing penmanship that she was keeping all of his appointments down and keeping him organized. And she was that woman that was like behind him, helping him succeed. And in turn, he took care of her. And not just financially. Yeah, financially, they traveled, they had fun, they had experience, they had 2 sons, you know, my dad and his brother.
I'm sure they went through a lot of I'm sure they went through a lot of downfalls together too.
Ups and downs. Like they were broke. They were broke college students. My grandfather, the way he grew up, he was like one of many children in Alabama. He said he would grow up and he got hand-me-down shoes that didn't fit him, you know? And he took that and came to Florida. And my grandmother's mother, so his like future mother-in-law, said, Max, you have something in you and you need to build a business yourself. Like, stop working for other people. And she gave him the money to start the business. And he took it from there and he built this empire with it, you know? So he really built something out of nothing. And like, it's so admirable because he still stayed true to who he was. He would drive the nicest cars and be in like a Mercedes, and we'd go to valet and he'd spend 25 minutes outside of the lunch place talking to the valet guy about his kids, kind of what he was doing.
Just being a kind soul to everyone. How are you?
Kind soul to everybody. Would tip him $100 and be like, I love your drive and your hustle, man. If you ever want to come work for my company, you got a job, kind of thing. And like giving money and helping people where he can. Every Girl Scout that knocked on that man's door, he bought every single Girl Scout cookie that she had. He was like, oh, that's so great. How
you probably had the king size bars for Halloween, you know, like you'd have like the you know, you guys chat, you guys know what I'm talking about. There was that one neighborhood in that one house in the neighborhood that give out like the king size candy bars, or you know, like instead of the little fun size stuff.
Yeah. You know, and I just, you know, and that and it sucks because that's the kind of relationship I have like as a fairy tale in my head that I just haven't been able to find, you know. And eventually, like I showed you pictures, like there's pictures of Papa holding both of my daughters, and he got to meet both of them, thank God, before he passed. Man, and I hold that dearly, you know. In his you know, he struggled with Alzheimer's, and I was the only person he remembered up until the day he died. Like he would just be like, Jess, he knew exactly who I was. Like that man made such an impression on me, you know. So I miss him.
I'm gonna pull up this. I don't have the one I think that you're referring to specifically, but here I have this one that I want to share. This picture is adorable. I love it so much. This is Grandpa right here.
Yeah, that's Papa.
That's Papa. And you know, like I see the joy
with Kylie. Joy. That's baby Kylie.
Baldy. I remember when Rose and Emmy's finally growing some hair. But you just see the look, like you just see happiness, you know. You don't see you can just tell by the facial expression, just pure happiness.
Yeah.
And
God, he was so smart. He was so smart. Like such a good businessman, so strategic, like such a good man.
And you know, shout out to Grandpa. Grandpa's you know, Grandpa's hopefully here with us, sending you energy and proud of you right now for doing this. I wanna just say thank you for trusting me, of letting down I've learned new things about you today in chat. I hope you guys have saw, and I truly hope, like I said, this is my first interview I've done, and I truly hope that chat, you guys
this is the first time I've cried online. I mean, not really, you guys make me cry with the sub gifts and stuff too, but I'm really
cried
letting down walls here with you guys.
And I hope that I hope that you guys were able to see a different side of Jess, because that's the purpose of this. Like I said, I Jess, you have so much more than what meets the eye, and you have we all do. I mean that, and there's so much to us, and like like I said, your struggles are the reason why you're here. Not your struggles are not what's torn. It's not to say they haven't torn you down, but you didn't let that stop you.
Yeah, it hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't been easy, that's for sure. And if anybody's dealing with like childhood stuff, I highly recommend inner child work. um just giving that inner child exactly what they needed, whether that's going to get a Play-Doh set because you never got to play with Play-Doh or something. Like it can be silly, but it's so important to just heal that inner child, because otherwise it's gonna be not a good time.
You know,
You know?
I agree with you, but I think I've said this before, and I think publicly we're witnessing it for the first time. It's not to say that you haven't already done this, but um the first step to breaking free, into changing, into like building a better life, is letting down your walls and being honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That hey,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
know, like you
Putting it
said,
out there.
I'm quoting you. You said that person that you guys see with the walls up, that's not who you are all the time, and like behind those
It's
walls.
not. Mm-mm.
And so guys, like those of you guys at home, like understand that like these walls can protect us, but they can also hurt us. And like um
Mm-hmm.
I've we go through so much, and it's a way that we navigate. You've been on survival mode since you were a little girl, to this very second.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, like just some of the
Yeah.
struggles, and like
I'm still in, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm in survival mode anymore, I do have to take care of myself. I do have to provide. Am always going to be very business minded and open and strategic. And I love that part of me. I, again, would love to open up to somebody that I could grow a kingdom with, right? Like going back to my grandfather's analogy, like I just want a king that can look over this kingdom and we can grow it together, kind of thing. And feel like I've always been looking for that. And um, yeah, I don't know. How it's gonna move going forward. I don't need someone, right? I'm good. I've been good my whole life, you know. Do I want someone? Yeah, of course. Of course I do. But I'm gonna have to leave my house, chat. And then I gotta find someone.
I think one other important thing, guys, for those of you guys that are watching still, we tend to focus on like things that we want. And you know, like for me, as I say this, like I could think the same. Like I would love this aspect of like a queen, but I think it's also important to ask yourself, like what does a king need? Not instead of what I need. Like what would that king need from me? What would And I've been
Mm-hmm.
asking myself, like, what would this individual, what would she need from me? Like what, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it doesn't
That's a
mean
great way to put
money.
it.
It doesn't. It could mean there's
Instead
so
of
many
looking at like
different.
what I want. Yeah.
And
That's a good way to put it. I love that.
because we
Like
there's a lot of things we want in life.
like that is such a good thing, because when I was friends with this girl, and I'm not friends with her anymore. I kind of like popped into her life when she needed me most, and I gave her a couch to sleep on because she was going through an abusive thing too. And what I needed when I was going through my abusive uh, thing, I just needed a couch. Like someone let me stay on their couch because I couldn't get out during COVID, right? And I was dying to get out, so I offered this woman a couch, and I was like, present yourself and like you're not acting like a wife right now. You say you want to get married, you say you want all this stuff, but she was, dating lots of men, partying, going out like crazy. And there was a period of time where I went with her because I was like, meh, whatever, like let's go. Or but then I was just so empty. I don't really enjoy, yeah, going out. I got hit on a bunch. I met a lot of men, like, it never came of anything because I strongly believe I will never meet my man at a bar, or a club or whatever. Like I very much believe like meet your man where you want him to be when you're together. And that is definitely, I don't want you being out in a bar in a club when we're together, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd only ever go out just to like, because I enjoy dancing. I like dancing. I like having fun. And again, I like meeting new people and like whatever. But I slowly realized that's not really what I want to pull from. That's not the pool I want to be in, right? And I very much believe you, Shift. Like you might not be a husband right now or a boyfriend right now, but how do you behave, right? Do you want your wife to be drinking and partying and blowing money on
Hell to the nah.
crazy things, or right? So it's like, how are you acting? Like I act like a wife always. Like I am a very like one person woman. I don't like a lot of male attention, and that's such a weird thing because my social media also freaks men out.
Jess, really quick, will you
A
send me
lot of men don't like
an
it.
invite on Twitch really quick? I accidentally closed out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got you though.
A lot
I
of people
got
don't like
you.
my social media.
No, I agree with what you're saying. And like there's this dynamic too.
Like,
It's not to say like for anyone out there, like you guys are, people are free, they could do whatever they want, but I think we talked about this earlier. You're, as you've developed and as you've grown, you start to set more boundaries for yourself, and it's not so much to say um that you're being picky. You should be picky and choosy. If you don't want to date someone that goes to the bars, that's just a boundary that you have. um
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to understand, like, you're looking in the wrong places for people. Um, if you're looking for someone who you can't, and how is that fair for me? I don't like going out drinking. That's not my lifestyle. I'm a homebody to an extent. I do like to go out. I like to go to shoot guns and ride my motorcycle and go to the beach, and like I do like going outside despite what I present online, you know. But it's with those things that I like to do. I don't want to. If someone came into my life right now and was like, Jess, it's 7 o'clock, like it's a Sunday, we outside, I'd be like, oh God, please no. Oh God, please no. Like I don't want to do it.
I don't remember the last time I went and hung out with like a group of friends. And like you said, like I don't know if this is like bad or not. Like I haven't gone out and hung out with friends, and I just, like you said, I don't have fun going to the bar. I'd rather like let's talk about like goals and strategies, and like let's there's so we live in the wrong generation.
Yeah, it's hard. And like, who would I be if I pick someone who is going out and then I'm like, oh hey, by the way, I don't like going out, by the way. I don't want to change who you are,
Exactly.
and that's not authentic. And then eventually you're gonna resent me for that, or like, oh, Jess never goes out. I'm like, yeah, I go out, but like I want to go get coffee and like watch the sunset or sunrise. I want to be up early.
It's just not who you are. Like you don't mind.
I want to play games. Yeah. Like, you want to play video games with me? Like, I'll play video games with you.
Well, this
so, I don't know. It's interesting.
This is gonna lead me to the last question of the day.
Okay.
And I think this has been awesome, by the way. And it's not to say the Shifter Spotlight is going to be. I have a few different creators that I've been talking to, but I think just with you and I partnering up on this journey, I think just based off of the engagement, off of the connections we made, like we should do this more often with you and me. Talk about things, and maybe next time you interview me or something,
yeah.
Put me in the hot spot. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I think that's cool.
You guys think Jess should interview me?
Like it. I think this is awesome.
But this is gonna be my final question, and you can take a moment, but I want you to really like, don't give me some like generic BS. I want you to think deep about this. Like, what?
Okay.
After having this conversation with me, what is one thing that you are gonna go do differently? Starting when we end the stream, what is one thing going forward that you are going to change or do differently to help you reach your goals and dreams?
So I really think something that has resonated with me since you and I had began this agreement on Twitch, and arrangement, or built a friendship outside of content creating and whatever, is Jess, you need to connect with your community more. And I was always like, I connect with my community. What are you talking about? We got the Spark Army, and like my Spark Army is freaking rad, dude. Like we're solid.
You have like, the community.
Jess. Like I do, but I feel like you guys are my community, but you don't really. You're like, yeah, we ride for JessR1des, but like I want you guys here for Jess, And I feel like Twitch has been such an amazing experience for me to be able to like connect with you guys in just like a different way, and I like genuinely enjoy it so much. I show up for you guys 3 or 4 times a week, and I love being here, and I love getting to know you guys. I love talking with you in the Discord, and you guys sharing pictures of your pets and your motorcycles and your fitness goals. And it's so cool to me. And now I kind of understand, Shifter, what you meant by like you need to connect with your community. Like, what are you talking about? I have broadcast channels. Like, I have a Facebook group. Like, I have my community, but like this is such a different level of connecting with you guys and just getting to know everybody. And I think that's what I want to do different in 2025 is doing more of this and just opening up and like kind of sharing more of me, and in turn you guys sharing more of you, you know. And it's not about the money, like the subs, the gifts, the bits. Like, yeah, of course that's a good piece of Twitch that really helps us do what we do to show up for you guys, because let's be real, we all have bills to pay. Right? Like, we've got, you know, all that to happen, but it's more than that for me. It's just being in a way that I could be my authentic self, and I don't have to hide behind this like JessR1des persona. And that's kind of why I rebranded as Jess Games. And I don't even know that I'm going to stick with that, chat, to be honest. Like, I want something more generic, that it's like you're here for Jess, because I might take you guys on a motorcycle ride in 6 months when I can do the IRL streaming that I'm planning for. I might take you guys plant shopping with me on a Sunday, because like we're gonna go find a plant that Jess is hyper fixating on right now and trying to find in South Florida. Like, I think you guys would enjoy that, right? It's just Jess. Like, seriously,
No, I
that's
agree.
something I want to do, you know? And I hope you guys see that vision. And I hope you guys see my authentic self. I'm still going to ride motorcycles. I'm getting a lot of flack on my main social media pages. They're like, you stopped riding. Like, no, I just have a creator burnout, and I'm riding for myself right now. Where I'm taking my helmet that doesn't have a camera on it. I'm not I If I want to record, I record. If I don't, I don't. You know? So I'm happy that you guys are here, and I'm finding this like not new family, because some of you guys are new, but we are kind of building this new family together here on Twitch, and I'm just
You know, it's I'm really
loving it.
happy.
So
Thank you for saying that. And
yeah.
because I've talked about this, how I used to stream back in Discord and when we had 50 plus people in there, and like I have the OG Shifter fam, and this is a rebuild. We still had the Shifter fam, we still had the Spark Army, but this is it's redefining it and putting a different look on it. And I'm really you know, it's not in a way of looking down on you, but like I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
For letting down your walls. And this is
Yeah.
it's hard to do in general, but it's hard to do when we've got people watching us, when we're live, the spotlight's on you, or you got the bright
Yeah.
light on you. I'm over
I
here.
know.
It's guys, talk about being a
Here's
creator.
the
It's
thing.
tough.
It is like the streaming. I love it. Like, I want you guys know, I genuinely like when I flip on, I would be gaming whether you guys are here or not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Like, Martin was a big piece in like pushing me to stream, because we were playing a bunch of games together early like last year, and I'm like, yeah, I play games. Like, and I was playing and I was doing Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm, you know, gaming, and that was always like a piece of Jess that I just never really like shared. I don't even think I publicly announced it on JessR1des. I was just doing this behind the scenes, you know, forever. And he's like, you should stream on Twitch. This is funny. Like, you're so funny. And I'm like, all right. And so I
You're a
did.
little
I
funny.
started it. Listen, funny looking. But you know, and I like my personality, and I want you guys to see it. And it's been really cool. It's been really awesome, and I love being here, and I hope you guys know that.
I
I
wanna
love you guys watching and viewing and hanging out with us, like the Shifter fam and the Spark Army, and now supporting my daughter Kylie too. You know, like when Kai calls you out. Kylie will always call me out.
and
She is
you know,
firecracker.
I wanna I'm gonna speak for myself, but I think you know, when we can see that don't change who you are. Like don't like, you know, um it's about keeping your passions. But like you see what I'm doing, like it's like, is he a moto vlogger, is he an artist, is he a
He's singing.
streamer? What is he doing? He's doing, and I'm doing everything I
Merch
love.
sales. I'm doing all
Like
of it. Yeah.
I'm doing everything I love doing. And so like that's what I
Yeah.
want. We've talked about feeling you. I remember when we first chatted, when we, and you know, Jess and I have a call, a business, when it's a business call, 1 hour a week, every Tuesday, and we talk.
Every Tuesday.
And
Yeah. We do strategy. We check.
and
I think we complement each other too, because I'm very like, I'm an analyst at heart, right? So
oh
I'm like
yeah,
data. I'm like, what's our last 30 days of
Road to
data? Like which
500
days
shifter,
did
you got to
better?
get it.
And I'm pushing. I'm like, let's get you to 500. I do that with Martin and Obi, and like I'm very like, let's get those numbers, people. Like promote. Like you promote for businesses, promote yourself. You know, you guys see that in my stream, and people who are in my circle that want to be on this Twitch journey with me, they like I'm there. I'm your number one fan. But Shifter's always like, connect with, and he keeps telling like, connect with
What
your
was my,
community.
I was like, what was my first goal?
Your first goal was connecting with the community more. And I was like, this guy, like, no, like we need to, like, let's go. We got to get this Twitch thing off the ground. And he's so right. Like, and we need to do it at the same time. Like, but he also needs to not lose focus on the numbers part
It also
of it.
took me about 3 months to
yourself.
hit 500 followers. So,
yeah, where I did it in like the first 30 days. So like we complement each other, you know, and Obi too. Obi's a part of this as well. You know, and all of that. And it's like we're all achieving the same thing, but I think at the core we're just genuine people. And that's my most important thing, is making sure, chat, that we have the most genuine people in this growth initiative as possible. So it's like, not that, you know, and yeah, we promote OB and stuff like that, but like right now it's Shifter and I kind of like leading this movement of like this community building, you know, and like bringing just something different to the Twitch side of things, that I don't think really has been there before. You know, I think, not that I know of, I don't think there's very many big motorcycle people on this space. So it's also bringing that knowledge and support, and just bringing that different element to it, you know, because there's just a different space here in the motorcycle industry that, you know, is kind of lacking. And I think that's cool. I think it's cool what we're doing, and I'm happy to
I think you're cool.
I think you're cool.
You know, like I said, I'm I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I'm sure everyone can relate. Thank you for today. Because it's
thank you guys for having me.
You know, there's this special part of being an interviewer, and my mom brought this up to me. It's just like there's value. I got a lot of value from this.
Watching the games. Sorry.
No, you're good. And I just like I said, like it's not to, don't change who you are. Still be JessR1des, be JessGames, but
yeah,
I think don't forget who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget that there's more to you than that.
There's more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the purpose of this. And I think tonight was you know, I said 90 minutes. Here we are, 2 hours 20 minutes. I know,
2 hours and 20 minutes. I know, right? Dang, we're crazy. But thank you. I'm honored being the first one. I know this is just going to be a really cool segment for your community. I think it's like, I can't wait to see the next.
It's for all of us. We're all a big community, guys. We all live in one earth. Yeah. We all live, you know, like everyone's divided to some extent. And it's not about Shifter fam or Spark Army. Like this is a family. Everyone here is together. Yeah. Majority of the people are both part of our communities.
The group. Yeah. Even like across platforms and stuff, whoever's in this community, we're all together, you know. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool what we're doing. I think it's awesome. I'm really enjoying my time here. So I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out. I hope you like this. I think we're going to do, Shifter and I did talk. I hope I can speak to this. Yeah. That we want to do more events like this. Thank you, Nesco, for 3 months.
Nesco.
Let's go with the sub.
Yeah, events and investing. We want to do more events.
If there's investing into the stream, like, you know, spending some of the money and maybe like doing meetups, doing events, things that you want to see. Maybe we'll do a track day. Maybe I'll be like, Shifter's doing his first track day.
Karaoke night.
Together. Karaoke. We're gonna still talk about that one.
Yo ass, you're gonna do karaoke. There's no, you just like let us in on your childhood, and then you're saying no to karaoke.
Singing in public is a little bit different.
A twister night. Bananas. Get your
cooking with Jess. I love to cook, and I share that on my Snapchat stories. And I know people are like, "Oh, you should do a cooking stream." Like, I love cooking.
I thought about it. I suck at. I am not like. I will admit it. You ask. I can make eggs. I can make quesadillas. I can make some PB&Js. I think a
pizza party.
Yeah, we've got Shift Studio coming, which I figured out. We'll talk about that on my next stream. But Shift Studio is coming. Not invited to the pizza party. Yeah, you're not invited to this pizza party. Spooky asked, "Are we
for the pizza party?"
Spooky asked if we're gonna be gaming later. I'm on Papa shift duties an extra day this week. I've got shout out to Rose. Rose has been helping with Emmy. I love you, baby, so much.
I know. A VIP to Rose to do this.
Can we get a W Rose in chat? Because this wouldn't happen without Rose.
Oh man. Talk
Rose,
about,
if you're watching.
You guys gotta get her some ice cream. They don't have school tomorrow.
I told her I was gonna give her Robux.
Robux. She's working. Kids, we got the kids working for Robux over here. Somebody call the authorities. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think tonight, I think today was there was a couple moments of where like the truth will reveal itself through your own thoughts, of just knowing, you know, like the way that you are today, the way that I am today is because of a reason. And being Shifter, being Jess is great, but come spend a day in my shoes, guys. Come through and, you know, spend a week in Jess shoes and see if you guys still want to do it.
See if you can hold, see if you can hold it down. It's a lot.
We struggle too. We're humans and we go through things. Yeah. And I think this is what people need from you. It's not every day, but I think once in a while to see this side of you, it would be a really beautiful thing for people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think doing more like this, I do want to incorporate, join my Discord, guys.
Throw the link.
I'm going to be doing
join the Discord.
Join the Discord. I'm going to be doing some more like intentional streams in 2025. I know we're already in 2025. I'm a little behind on this. But I'm trying to do some more intentional streams so you guys know what to expect. I'll be posting like a weekly schedule so you guys know when to tune in, things like that. And I do, you know, right now I can only commit so much time because I do work a full-time job, but I do really want to connect with you guys some more. And yeah, and see what Kylie does with her stream too. You know, that's a big thing for me now as a mom, you know, helping her achieve her goals that she wants to accomplish as well. So we're going to be tag teaming that.
You know, I had to leave out. I had to Marmar with us gifted sub. Thank you so much. I left out roughly like 6 questions. I still got more questions for you. This ain't done. So we're gonna do this again. You know, part 2. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll give it, you know, some time. We'll let it chill for a little bit. But I have more questions for you. And okay. And so I think this will be something fun. Thank you guys so damn much. This was fun, Jess.
Time for you to cry, Shifter.
No, I ain't crying today. No, hat going forward.